Welcome into NFL Game Night here. It's our 49ers versus Dallas Cowboys watch party. Cam Rogers with you. Harris Rubenstein alongside. We're chilling, we're relaxing. We're here to keep you guys company for a very exciting game tonight. What is that, like strawberry?
That is Arnold Palmer, also known as the urine of the gods. It is my favorite drink, and I will drink it until I die.
I just ripped a 5-hour energy, so I'm ready to rock. Hit us up on Twitter. And, of course, BetDSI is coming along for the ride with their odds for tonight's game and all the games across the preseason and NFL regular season. Cowboys, 49ers, couple of historic franchises. Harris go back many years of successes and Super Bowl victories. This game at Levi's Stadium set to kick off in a matter of moments here. Jimmy Garoppolo will be starting for the San Francisco 49ers. We'll see what he can do on the football field tonight. The expectation is he will play 1 or 2 series there for San Francisco. Harris, you'll take things from the Cowboys' perspective as we go throughout the show as well. A lot of storylines surrounding Dallas this season, particularly in terms of the wide receiver position. Who is going to stick out this preseason at that position? Will it be an Allen Hurns? Or will it be a Tavon Austin? I mean, don't let it be.
No.
Don't let it be.
I will be coming from a Cowboys point of view tonight, but I will say this right now. Stop trying to make Tavon Austin happen, because it's not going to happen. I'm pumped for Michael Gallup tonight, though. I think he's going to do some nice things.
We got a weigh-in for you guys here as you see it at the bottom of your screen. Who do you have tonight? Pretty simple. Type away in the comments section. C for Cowboys, 9 for 49ers. We're live on the Dallas Cowboys Facebook page as well as the San Francisco 49ers Facebook page here on Chat Sports, as well as the Dallas Cowboys YouTube live channel. So we're kind of everywhere is what we're saying.
And we also want to explain, we are not live streaming the game, people. Dude, come on, hang out with us. I'm sure you guys have the game on your TV. We'll be giving you guys some live coverage as the game goes. It's going to be a fun one tonight. We have some really, really good players that we're going to see be promoted tonight. I'm pumped from the 49ers perspective, too. See a little Dante Pettis tonight, hopefully. See a little Marquise Goodwin. We've heard that the offense looks good in camp. I want to see Zeke. I want to see just a little bit of Zeke. Just let him blow past someone and stiff arm someone 6 feet into the dirt. I want to see it.
We'll be live streaming our own analysis of the touchdowns, of the highlights that go down tonight. You know, a lot of expectations about the 49ers this season. And Jimmy Garoppolo is at the center of it all. MVP type of candidate this year, Harris. If you want to look at the odds, he is highly ranked in terms of MVP odds.
Which, you know, look, there's a difference between being highly ranked and also actually ending up winning MVP.
Sure, absolutely.
You know, Zeke is also in the mix, as is Dak. But look, I think from a kind of a broader perspective, this is the most important year of Jimmy Garoppolo's life. This is one of the most important seasons in the history of the San Francisco 49ers, and that does include, you know, obviously all those years with Montana and Steve Young, simply because the future is always more important than the past. And the 49ers is one of the great franchises of this sport. They have to cement their future, and they're hoping that's Jimmy Garoppolo. But look, guys, we've had plenty of quarterbacks get big contracts and then fail. I mean, how many games did Matt Flynn end up playing for the Seattle Seahawks after he signed that massive deal? Pretty sure Russell Wilson ended up taking over the starting spot from him during training camp. So we'll see what happens with Jimmy G. Nothing in the NFL is a certainty. He's had 5 good games. It's make or break time. They gave him a lot of money. He can't just be bad. Like, they really need him to be at least competent.
For folks watching on the 49ers Facebook page, you may recognize me. Of course, I'm the host of the 49ers Report. Been tracking all of the offseason moves for San Francisco and training camp buzz out there.
And for the people on the Cowboys page, you may recognize me from when Dez Bryant initially got released. And that is the only time that this page would actually know who I am.
Were we on that together?
We were on that together.
Okay.
That was one of the biggest videos on the Dallas Cowboys page. That was a fun day because you had a grin the size of 2 football fields because you were finally confirmed to be right that the
Cowboys were going to cut Dez Bryant. I was saying it forever, and now I'm saying that Dez is going to go to the New England Patriots, but that's a discussion for another day.
The Browns.
He's got a meeting with the Browns next week. Jimmy Garoppolo is of the mold where he has this just raw ability as a quarterback. We see it with the amount of wins that he has so far in his career. Small sample size, but he's 7-0. 2-0 with the Patriots, 5-0 with the 49ers last season as well. But I almost want to be like, well, let's just pump the brakes here because data is important, and we don't necessarily have all of the data to really cement a good opinion on Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
Now, I have been saying that Garoppolo will be a top 10 quarterback by the time the season is over.
And I said that Jimmy Garoppolo was the top 10 quarterback last year.
As we asked the folks at home, too, on your screen.
And also for the Cowboys and Niners fans at home, I do cover the Patriots as well, so I have a very distinct understanding of Jimmy Garoppolo's strengths and weaknesses. Strength number one, he has maybe one of the best, one of the quickest releases of the football in the NFL. He didn't just get that from Brady. That is just a natural point of talent that you end up getting. And I think we saw from him last year just a very, a poise in the pocket that we haven't seen for the 49ers in a long time. We saw a calmness from him as well that is so important for the NFL. He always seemed to be under control, which is such an issue for young quarterbacks in today's age. But look, the 49ers get to reap the benefits of a Bill Belichick-developed quarterback. And everything is pointing to this being a good move for them. But,
by the way, a quarterback that Bill did not want to leave.
No, he didn't. Look, for all the commotion that went on with the Patriots, Bill Belichick wanted Jimmy Garoppolo to be the future of the franchise, and he wanted to trade Tom Brady. That much can be believed, and that much is true. Now, I will say this, because we're talking a lot about the Niners. You cut it over to the Cowboys side of things. This also is the most important year of Dak Prescott's life. Because, look, we had one really good year. We had one really, okay year. This is the third year for him as a starter. We got to see what he brings to the table. Can he take that elite step as a quarterback and, go to the upper echelons? It's going to be great.
We got the live scoreboard throughout the game, folks. Our live streaming analysis, live streaming thoughts on this matchup between two historic franchises. Top Cowboys receiver this year. Hit us up in comments. Want to hear what you guys have to think. You're hard-pressed to pick a favorite. You got T. Will. You got Allen Hurns, Deontay Thompson, Tavon Austin. I'm just saying it's a fact. He's on the depth chart.
I know. I believe it's going to be Michael Gallup. And I've said that from the time that they drafted him. Look, is Allen Hurns really going to be like the superstar? Also, the game has started very nice run there for the Cowboys. So, look, I think it's going to end up being Allen Hurns. Or, excuse me, it's going to end up being Michael Gallup. He has the most talent of any wide receiver on this roster. Allen Hurns is going to get hurt. Like, it's inevitable. That's what always happens to Allen Hurns. But I think Michael Gallup and Dak Prescott are going to be perfect partners going forward. He's a really good wide receiver. Nice run there by Rod Smith, by the way.
Rod Smith, good run there for Dallas. Dallas Cowboys heading towards midfield here as we are just a shade under 14 minutes left to play in the first quarter. For the Dallas Cowboys, this is a team that is going to be fighting hard in the NFC East. We're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, defending champions. I think the Redskins are going to be better than last year. They got rid of the thorn in their side that was Kirk Cousins. For right or wrong, he was holding them back in a way, and whether or not Alex Smith is an upgrade is another question. But for Dallas here, they're playing in a very difficult conference compared to the AFC. The AFC is a little more watered down. So the Cowboys, even if they win 10 games, and which very well is in the realm of possibility, may not make the postseason. So they have to really beat out head-to-head tiebreakers against contender type of teams. They can't beat the cupcakes and lose to the contenders, or else they lose the tiebreaker.
And also with this Cowboys team, how many years in a row have we heard, oh, the Cowboys are the best offensive line in football? Like, eventually, that best offensive line in football needs to start translating to wins and needs to start translating to playoff appearances. And I understand that the NFC is stacked. I get that the NFC East is going to be a little bit more challenging this year. Just, the Giants are coming back, the Redskins with the new quarterback. But I want to see the Cowboys as a team take the next step. I want to see the coaching staff start to mix in some interesting things for Dak. Nice run here by him getting the first down on 3rd and 9. I want to see Dak Prescott take that next step, and if he does, the entire team will as well. We've seen so many good teams in the NFL be held back by their own quarterback play. We saw it with the 49ers last year. What happened as soon as Jimmy Garoppolo ended up starting? Boom, the team ends up winning games.
Yep.
If Dak Prescott can take that next step, he doesn't need to be a top 10 quarterback. He doesn't even need to be barely even top 15. If he is a league average NFL quarterback and allows Ezekiel Elliott to control the offense, they are a potential playoff team.
Dak Prescott can't be the guy that throws the football 35, 40 times a game. He can't be.
That's not his style.
He's not his style. And you know what? We saw shades of that, I think, in a perfect example, the Chargers game on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Where
very good one.
The Chargers just teed off Harris on the Dallas Cowboys. Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, that secondary there. They picked off Dak a few times, and it was an ugly performance.
It was. And I think
no Zeke in that game, by the way.
No Zeke in that game. And, you never want to fully rely on one player too much. But if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you're fine relying on Ezekiel Elliott. Just like they didn't draft him top 5 for nothing. They didn't draft him for him to be a small part of this offense. He is the focal point of the Dallas Cowboys offense. I know we've been talking a lot about Dak, and I do like the rest of the Dallas Cowboys running backs. I like Rod Smith as a backup. I think Bo Scarborough is going to end up being a nice 1-2 combo with him and Zeke. But look, Zeke is one of the best running backs in the NFL already. He got robbed of a season last year off of shenanigans. It was shenanigans that he ended up getting suspended for. And now this year, this is the first year where we get to see Zeke unleashed. Rookie year Zeke, you know, it's a rookie year, whatever. Last year, behind him completely. He is in shape. He is ready to go. He is fully primed for this season. If he doesn't end up leading the NFL in rushing yards this year, I will actually be pretty surprised. He should lead the league in rushing.
Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith. These guys are elite run blockers, good pass protectors as well. Zach Martin, probably the best guard in the game. DeCastro, Yonda may have something to say about that, but Martin is certainly getting paid as the best guard in the game. There's no doubt about that. For the Dallas Cowboys on the defensive side now, you know what really intrigues me about them, and I'm really excited to see how this secondary shakes out, especially in tonight's game. They got a lot of young pieces. They got Byron Jones at corner now. They got Xavier Rhodes. Chidobe Awuzie. You got rid of Orlando Scandrick this offseason, which kind of paved the way for the youth in that back end there. Yes, there's still Jeff Heath, and I know you have your qualms about him. But the secondary is exciting as we do have a touchdown live happening right now.
There he is.
Dak Prescott to Michael Gallup. 30 yards for the score.
That's my guy. I'm telling you, Michael Gallup is – when they draft him, they're like, oh, he's going to be a number 2 wide receiver in the NFL, and that's all he'll ever be. Look, he has the ability. He has the speed. He has the ability to catch the ball in traffic. He's a very good player, and he dominated at Colorado State last year. Like, not just like a little bit. He was one of the best wide receivers in the entire conference, if not the best wide receiver in the conference. He is going to be a perfect player for Dak Prescott to throw to. I love his ability on the outside. You can put him in the inside as well. And as you saw with that touchdown,
great pass protection too.
It was great pass protection. You also saw, look, he was able to muscle off the corner on the outside.
It was a beautiful deep ball too, and everybody's like, oh, we're all concerned about Dak's deep ball. Looked pretty good there. Against Jimmy Ward, nonetheless.
Guys.
Not good, 49ers.
A 30-yard pass is not necessarily a deep ball. However, that was a very nice-looking throw. That's the kinds of throws that Dak Prescott needs to make throughout this whole season. That was a great throw for him. Like, again, people, I classify deep ball as something that goes 50 yards or longer, but that was a very good throw. I mean, he beat the guy down the sidelines. He put the ball in a spot that only his receiver could catch it. It was a comfortable route. There was nothing that any of us were worried about. When he threw that ball, like, I had no doubt in my mind that someone was going to catch it or it was just going to be incomplete. This was a good throw.
Michael Gallup making you look smart so far as that top wide receiver.
I was huge on him. He was one of my top 5 wide receivers in the draft this year.
All right, Harris, so I placed some money down on this game tonight using our friends at BetDSI. And for BetDSI, Harris, we're talking about a 120% deposit bonus when you sign up. You see the link at the bottom of your screen, chatsports.com/bet. For you 49ers fans out there, the promo code NFL120. Cowboys fans, you can use the promo code Cowboys120, but NFL120 works as well.
They both work seamlessly, I promise. Like, Cowboys120 is the code that I used tonight to put some money on the Cowboys. I really thought that they were going to be able to take this one tonight. They're on the road against the 49ers, and look, preseason games are always a little bit difficult to bet on, but hell, vote for your, bet on your favorite team. I put down some money on the Cowboys, and Michael Gallup is making me look like a very smart
actually
man.
The biggest line of the night, -4 in favor of the 49ers at home.
It's very strange.
So,
well, hey, Jimmy Garoppolo might come out here for 2 drives and throw 2 touchdowns, but as of right now, I mean, look, that was the drive that you wanted to see from Dak. They controlled the tempo of the clock with the run game. They opened up the play action a little bit, and they were able to open up space on the outside by allowing the safety to open up a little space between him and the corner. So, very well drawn out drive for the Cowboys. That's what you want to see, especially on the first drive of the preseason.
So we'll be interacting with you guys throughout the game as well. We'll be reading the comments here on San Francisco 49ers by Chat Sports, Cowboys by Chat Sports, as well as the Cowboys YouTube channel. And Eddie via the 49ers page goes, Jimmy Ward, really? He's still here? Yeah, he is, Eddie, and I really don't know why. Oh, by the way, he's getting paid $8.5 million to sit on the bench. He's a backup corner, safety, nickel kind of guy.
That's my worry, man. That is my biggest worry for actually both of these teams, ironically. I find that the 49ers secondary, I get that Sherman is there, but this is going to be Richard Sherman's first year without Earl Thomas behind him. That's a huge difference going from Earl Thomas to Adrian Colburn and Jaquiski Tart, or however the hell you say it. Jaquiski, whatever. There's no A there.
They're good safeties. They're young, though.
They are. They're good and they're young, but Sherman is expected to be the leader of this secondary.
Yep.
And I'm just worried. Look, it's the same concept with big man and big man with foot injuries in basketball. Corners with foot injuries are huge issues. That is a big-time issue. That's short area quickness. That's ability to get off the ball. That's ability to run down the field with fast wide receivers. Like it's I think is a valid worry. But Ahkello Witherspoon is one of the best young corners in football. If you don't know his name right now, you will by the end of this season. He had a great year last year, and he came into this year yoked. That dude has been lifting some weights.
Big.
Holy cow, that dude is ready to go. So I'm excited to see what this Niners defense can do. I'm just not quite sold on it yet.
Want to talk to my guy Scott on the 49ers page as well. He thinks that Jimmy Ward could get traded. Now, there was some buzz earlier in June and July. I reported on it a little bit that maybe Jimmy Ward would get traded, and it makes some sense heading into the final year of his deal. If you're the 49ers, maybe they don't want to extend him after the season. Had some good promise coming out of college, and the 49ers are pretty set in terms of the secondary, especially with the young pieces that they have. Tarvarius Moore, Tavares McFadden, DJ Reed at slot corner. They got K'Wan Williams, Witherspoon, Sherman, of course, as well. Secondary seems okay. Why not trade away Jimmy Ward, help out the edge rushing ability there, because San Francisco, in terms of that position, very much up in the air. I don't know who's going to have the most sacks this year. It might be DeForest Buckner, and he's not even an end.
Buckner is an absolute monster. That was a great draft pick when they picked him up. He was my #1 defensive player that year. He's an absolute monster. He was great in the Pac-12 the year he was coming out. So I just threw up a pinned comment on the Cowboys page, and then I also threw this question on the Cowboys YouTube page as well. How many touchdowns will Dak Prescott throw this year? Also, nice play there by Jalen Smith. He really does look like he's starting to get a lot of his short area quickness back. His explosiveness started to come around by the end of last year, and he's starting to really get back into the NFL and the football speed of things. But back to my original comment. How many touchdowns will Dak throw this year? Let me know in the comments section here on Facebook and also on YouTube. I want to know what you guys think, because I personally think he'll go for about 27 or 28. I don't know if he'll hit that 30 mark, but let me know what you guys think. The comment is up. I want to hear what you guys think.
First and 10 for the 49ers here. Jimmy Garoppolo just completing a pass to Richie James, 7th-round selection out of Middle Tennessee State. Like him a lot, but the problem is at the wide receiver position for San Francisco, there are going to be 6 wide receivers on the 53-man roster.
Yep.
4 are already locked in, Harris. Pierre Garçon, Trent Taylor, Dante Pettis, and Marquise Goodwin. So you have essentially 5 players vying for 2 slots. So in that vein, you got to look at, well, maybe it's Richie James. Maybe it's Kendrick Bourne, Aaron Burbridge. The list goes on. Aldrick Robinson even, he's creating some buzz.
Victor Bolden, Jr.
Victor Bolden, sure.
This is my biggest issue with the 49ers offense. I get that Kyle Shanahan's system does not require an elite #1 wide receiver, but color me a little bit concerned. Look, Pierre Garçon is a nice wide receiver. Marquise Goodwin is a nice wide receiver. But Kyle Shanahan had Julio Jones in Atlanta for the years that he was the offensive coordinator there.
Yep.
And I just wonder if you're going to see the 49ers, look, if the offense struggles a little bit, they have a lot of young pieces on this team and a lot of future picks that they can move. I would not be surprised if the 49ers midseason, maybe there's a disgruntled wide receiver, an elite wide receiver on another team they can make a move for. Maybe there's an elite tight end out there that's a little bit disgruntled. I don't know. But I think this wide receiver depth chart for the 49ers, it needs a Julio. It needs an AJ Green.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't have that guy.
It doesn't.
but it has so much depth.
That's true. It has a lot of talent. It has a lot of speed. Garoppolo looking good here, though, with Marquise Goodwin, though. I like their chemistry, and I like what we saw with them last year. That beautiful moment last year with Marquise Goodwin scoring the touchdown after the unfortunate death of his newborn child, right?
Yes.
Wasn't it? That was it was a beautiful moment, him scoring the touchdown, obviously coming from a pretty horrible event for him and his wife, but they need a guy, and I think that's going to be their biggest holdback this year. They're going to discover very quickly what the Redskins discovered about Pierre Garçon is that he's just okay. He's just okay. He's just okay, and they don't really have anyone else that can take over for him.
You know, I'm more of a Pierre Garçon truther than you are, Harris.
Yeah.
I think he has one of the more good hands in the NFL, and he showed that last year. But the problem is he's got to stay healthy. He only played in 8 games last season, so he needs to be a 16-game guy at least this year for the 49ers.
He could end up being Jimmy Garoppolo. It's going to be a weird statement about it. He could end up being Jimmy Garoppolo's binky. Like, he could end up being his blanket, who's just like, all right, I need to go to someone, Pierre Garçon, and ends up throwing the ball to him for a first down. Like, these are the guys that are incredibly important to have. Ooh, Jimmy Garoppolo just missed a throw over the middle, though.
Looking for George Kittle on that play.
George Kittle's a little bit injured. I think he landed on his arm a little funky, though.
Seam route there for Kittle.
Yep. With Garoppolo also, I'm concerned, or not concerned, I'm interested to see how he actually progresses. Because if you look at what he did last year, you saw a lot of good things. The deep ball was working, the intermediate routes were working. He was great in the play action as well. And also, when they started to go up tempo, he was able to keep up. I just want to see how he does from base sets. How does he work in a base offense, making plays, not under a crazy amount of pressure? Can he move the ball down the field against elite defenses? You know, they shredded the Jaguars, but I want to see it through a full 16. 5 games is not 16 games, but we'll see.
All right, they're looking at Kittle's right shoulder there. We'll have an update on that, but you talked about Jimmy Garoppolo and his deep ball in particular. Now, I was following the training camp buzz and all of that in regards to Garoppolo, and one thing that wasn't actually working was the deep ball.
Interesting.
Now, his intermediate throws are very, very good, and again, we're talking about a guy with 7 starts under his belt at this point. I mean, he's very young. We're thinking about this guy as if he's like
6.5. He played a quarter and a half against the Dolphins in his second start with the Patriots. Everyone always says that he played a quarter and then missed the rest of the game with a shoulder injury. That needs to be pointed out. It was a very sketchy shoulder injury that he ended up missing multiple games with. No one was really sure how injured he actually was. There was a lot of commotion around that shoulder injury. So just something to keep in the back of your mind.
4th and 9, TV timeout, folks. But looks like the 49ers will be punting. Now, for the Dallas Cowboys in this game, already up 7-0. You saw something from Dak Prescott. You saw something from Rod Smith. The offensive line looked pretty darn good. And the 49ers have punted away there, so TV timeout out there in Santa Clara. For the Cowboys now, in terms of the defense, good start as we stand. That front line looked disruptive.
It did.
And I expect that this year.
That's super important for what this Cowboys team needs to do. I mean, they gave DeMarcus Lawrence, they tagged DeMarcus Lawrence this year. Dayton Jones is someone who especially Tom Downey, is very excited about. Jihad Ward they've been talking about as well. They made a draft day trade for him. Tyrone Crawford is a guy for me, though, that needs to step up this year in the terms of overall sack numbers. I understand there are only so many sacks that come around, but, you know, you don't always need 2 elite pass rushers, but you just keep going back. And, you know, they got Taco Charlton. They need him to take a step forward. Coney Ealy, he needs to come around as well. Charles Tapper. I'm not as sold on a lot of these guys as someone like Tom Downey is. I'm sold on Tank Lawrence. I think he's one of the best pass rushers in football, but the rest of the defensive line for me, pass rush is all about depth. The Jacksonville Jaguars led the league in sacks last year because they had 6, 7 guys who ended up with sacks. I think the Cowboys, in order to make up for their lack of top-end talent in the secondary, you're right, they need that defensive line to be disruptive.
Well, you know, I am really high on the Cowboys linebacking core. I think Jalen Smith really makes that step this year. We know what Sean Lee can do if he is actually on the football field.
Which isn't often.
And Leighton Vander Esch, the first-round pick of this past draft. That's a compelling linebacking core.
You know, I think that Leighton Vander Esch not only is Sean Lee's insurance. I'm someone who likes to look at, like, the deep meaning inside of first-round draft picks. The deep meaning behind getting Leighton Vander Esch is the Cowboys basically saying to Sean Lee, here's your replacement. Stay on the frickin' field. Like, at this point, I think the Cowboys, as our Cowboy fans, they're sick of this. Like, I know that Sean Lee's a great player. I understand how great the Cowboys defense is with Sean Lee. But eventually, you just get sick of the guy getting hurt. Like, it starts to annoy you. It starts to bother you. You're like, when is this guy going to stay on the field? It's how I feel about Donta Hightower with the Patriots.
Yep.
Great player, can't stay on the field. Like, it's annoying. Like, stay healthy. So, we'll see what ends up happening overall with this linebacker core, but Van Der Esch, they're putting pressure on Sean Lee to stay on the field.
We got Cooper Rush in the game for the Dallas Cowboys at the quarterback position. I think the Cowboys saw enough from Dak Prescott in that first-string offense.
That was a great throw. Interested to see who actually is out here with the second-team offense. Terrence Williams seems to be out here catching a couple passes from Cooper Rush. They seem to have the backup offensive line
Fleming
in as well.
Looney.
Marcus Martin's in. Looney, Lyle Collins is in as well. So the Cowboys are putting in the full second-team offense here. The Rod Smith still back there as the starting running back. I think they want to see what they have in him.
All right, folks, if you want to watch the game live, watch it with us. For those out there in the Bay Area, it's on CBS KPIX Channel 5. And for you here in Dallas, CBS KTVT Channel 11. We are based in Dallas. That's how we are watching the live stream, as you can enjoy the live reaction from us here. Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers out there in Santa Clara. First-string offense out of there for the Cowboys, 3rd and 9 on Dallas's 21-yard line. As the broadcast takes a look at Solomon Thomas, 41 tackles, 34 solo last year, 3 sacks. He's a guy that is supposed to be very integral in the department of sack creation because the 49ers struggled mightily in that department last year, and Solomon Thomas said it during the offseason. I'm going to work on my edge rushing ability. I'm going to work on my pass rushing. I'm going to work on creating more sacks. And for a 49ers team that really didn't address this position during the draft, that is important.
I was very low on Solomon Thomas when he came out. Like, I thought that he was going to be a good player in the NFL, but I never understood taking him so high. Now, if you're the 49ers and they got that ridiculous package from the Bears for the Mitchell Trubisky pick, I just wasn't overly crazy about the Solomon Thomas pick, though it does seem like we have an injured player on the field right now. A lot of guys taking these. We'll get the info for you in just a second for who exactly is injured, but we have taken a TV timeout here. Now what you want to see in the first quarter of the first preseason game, someone down for the 49ers.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, folks, continue with those comments. We will address them throughout the broadcast here. Chance Roberts on YouTube Live. How will Zeke do after a bad year for his standards and a suspension? I think Zeke's in for a ball-out type of year.
I do, too, and I want to clarify. Bad season for his standards is not fair at all. I don't think
he missed
that's
6
fair.
games.
Like, now you just missed 6 games. It's like, you have to remember, he's a human being. Like, this is a dude with thoughts, hopes, and dreams. And he's coming into his second NFL season, coming off of a fantastic rookie year. And all of this stuff is just coming down on him. And all this crap and all the suspension. He's a domestic abuser. Like, he sucks. He's all this and that. And it ends up not being true. He gets suspended anyway. It was a cloud. It was a cloud over him and his performance all year long. And guess what? He still led the league in yards per game. I think he is going to have the best, if not maybe the second or third best season of any running back in football. I mean, he should have the most rushing yards in the NFL and should probably be third behind, maybe David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell as the best running back in football at the end of the year.
Well, could Zeke win the MVP? Let us know in comments. I'll tell you what, BetDSI has the odds out for the MVP for the NFL season, and you guys can check them out. Sign up, chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code NFL120 or Cowboys120 for that 120% deposit bonus. If there is a running back out there that will be in the hunt for the MVP, I think Zeke could be it.
Yo, hold on. Shout out to Muddy Skeleton on YouTube, who is at the game right now.
No way.
And still watching our live coverage.
No way.
You're the real MVP, Muddy Skeleton. You the real MVP. That's some intense stuff right there. I love that.
That's respect. That's respect.
I'm going to screenshot that. That's something special right there. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm glad that we have a couple of fans out there already. Thank you to everyone watching tonight.
All right, so as we stand, the Dallas Cowboys are up 7-0 over the 49ers, 4th and 9 on Dallas's 21-yard line. You know, when you talk about what to expect out of the preseason games, preseason week 1, usually you don't take too much away in terms of the starters. Usually you get that in week 3. Week 4 is the complete reserve game where the third stringers are playing most of the games. That's kind of how the rundown is with the preseason matchups.
True. Hold on. One thing here, Cam. It turns out that it was actually Solomon Thomas who left the field injured. So we will have an update for you guys as that comes in. But yes, number 94 was the guy that was on the ground for the 49ers. He has now left the field. So we will get that information to you guys as soon as we get it. I'm sure that every 49ers fan is spamming Twitter as fast as they possibly can. Refresh, refresh, refresh.
Okay, want to hit up Muddy Skeleton, by the way, on YouTube Live. Take a picture of yourself, selfie, DM us on Twitter. Then we will show your picture live here on air. So hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. You can hit him up on Twitter at Sportstein or at Chat Sports on Twitter as well. Muddy Skeleton, send in that selfie to us on Twitter. We will show it to you live here on the broadcast, giving you some love for watching the program.
Send it.
Full send.
Literally send it. I don't full send it. Literally send it.
You think you're funny, don't you?
I don't think I'm funny. I just enjoy occasionally being funny.
Francis in the comments asking, what do you think the Cowboys' record will be?
Ooh.
And he wants playoff predictions.
Ooh.
What do you think?
I think with the Cowboys roster as it is today, it so much revolves around how Dak can recover from last year. But their schedule is tough. They have a really, really tough schedule. And I think they have 6 very difficult division games this year, regardless of what you think about the Washington Redskins. The New York Giants are coming back this year with a revamped offense. Eli's healthy. Odell's healthy. Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, Saquon Barkley, all healthy.
We'll note real quick, Jimmy Garoppolo out of the game. C.J. Beathard in now.
Oh, we get to see the Iowa man.
There you go.
With Greg Kittle.
Well, let's look at this. I mean, let's break down this schedule here for Dallas, and we can kind of give our predictions that way. Tough start at Carolina, as you kind of alluded to. Then it's the Giants at Seattle against the Detroit Lions. Those first 4 games, I like 3-1.
3-1, Panthers, Giants, Seahawks,
Lions. I think they lose to the Panthers and they win.
Are they on the road against the Seahawks?
On the road against the Seahawks. I don't think it'll matter this year. I really don't.
I'll give them 2-2 on this one. I think that they'll beat the Giants the first time. I think with the Lions, I don't know why people think the Lions are going to be good. They have one of the most average rosters in all of football. They're going to go 8-8. They're not going to be easy, but it seems that Lions, they're going to be home against the Lions. Yeah, they can beat the Lions at home.
You know you can pull up the schedule on your computer, too.
Yeah, you're just right there.
Come on, buddy. All right, so, hey, I say 3-1 in those first 4. Then it's at Houston, home to Jacksonville, at Washington after a bye. Then it's Tennessee. So here's how I see it playing out after that. So the Cowboys are 3-1. They go to Houston. I actually think they lose that game, 3-2. Against the Jaguars at home, I think they lose that game as well, 3-3. They beat Washington in Washington. I actually think they beat the Titans in Week 9. So now we're at 4-3 at that point, if my math is correct here. Let's see, 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, 4-3. Excuse me, 5-3. Then at Philadelphia, probably going to lose that game, 5-4. At Atlanta, lose there, 5-5. Then I think they can win again against Washington, 6-5, home against the Saints.
That could be a absolutely pivotal game for the Cowboys. So we have another injured player on the field right now. We can't see his number, but we do have another injured 49er player that's on the ground. So Solomon Thomas already went down.
Good. Yeah.
And now we'll see what ends up happening with another injured player here. We'll see if we can get some info as it continues to come in here. But 2 injuries back-to-back already for the 49ers is not what you want to see.
The rest of the way here for the Cowboys, as we just go through this schedule, you know, I think they lose to the Saints in Week 13, but then I think the Cowboys win their last 4. Home to Philly, at Indianapolis, home to Tampa, then at the Giants. There's 10-6 for the Cowboys, and yeah, the NFC is really competitive. Yeah, you got the Panthers, the Falcons, the Saints, all these teams in that conference competing for playoff spots. 10-6 could be enough.
I'm also in the camp of thinking that the Eagles are going to be a little bit worse this year than they were last year. I know by the end of the season, Carson Wentz is going to have everything under him, but it needs to be pointed out. I can't believe I'm about to say this. Outside of Carson Wentz tearing his ACL, the Eagles had an unprecedented level of health. Carson Wentz was their first major injury all season long. They were remarkably healthy for no defensive starter on their team was heavily injured throughout the season. Outside of their left tackle Jason Peters, their entire offensive line was healthy, and they were able to get a backup left tackle who came in and did just a fine job against them. So I know they lost left tackle, I know they lost QB, but they had great backups behind them. I just think this year that luck isn't really going to be there. I mean, they were crazy in the playoffs. And I don't think Nick Foles could put up another performance like he did last year. We know what the real Nick Foles looks like. Last year was a flash in the pan.
I think we got our tweet from Muddy Skeleton, by the way. We'll see if we can pull it up for the folks. Sick. Yeah.
So 5 minutes. So here are the injured players right now for the 49ers.
Okay.
So Malcolm Smith has already been back to the locker room.
That's not
George
good.
Kittle, we know. We saw him go off with that wrist injury. Solomon Thomas went to the locker room, and then the player that got injured was backup running back Matt Breida.
Wow.
He was a very good, not very good, that's overstated.
Well, he was supposed to be the second guy,
last year. And like you said, he was supposed to spell Jerick McKinnon at the running back spot. Seems like he went for a low block on a player, and it might have just – I think it looks like a stinger. It looks like a shoulder stinger for him. It doesn't look like anything wildly serious, but, I mean, look, he kind of went right into his knee, or the player's knee that he went on the cut block with, went right into his shoulder. So, ow, looks like a stinger to me, but, I'm no doctor. Dr. Rubenstein is not in the house.
I want to answer a comment from Joseph on YouTube Live. What's the latest with Earl Thomas? And as we stand right now, Earl Thomas has been, quite vocal lately in terms of wanting to get a long-term deal done with the Seattle Seahawks. Doesn't look like GM John Schneider and the Seattle leadership are in any hurry to actually get that done, Harris. Now, Earl Thomas wants a trade if he does not get an extension with Seattle.
Yep.
And the most likely suitors are the following teams.
This is
the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans.
Can I ask a question to our Cowboys fans out there? After all this calamity, with how much money you're going to have to give Earl Thomas?
Yep.
Do you want Earl Thomas? Do you really want Earl Thomas? Is Earl Thomas, I'll put it this way, is Earl Thomas the difference between the Dallas Cowboys and the playoffs? Because if he is, then you absolutely trade for him. You think so?
Yes, I do believe that. He's one of the elite free safeties in the league.
I just find that the impact that a safety can have is a little bit overstated in the modern day NFL. Because, look, we saw this in the Super Bowl. We saw so many teams last year, all these great defenses. The Vikings come in with the best defense in football. They got slaughtered by the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. The Patriots and the Eagles, two of the top 5 scoring defenses in football. They punt once in the entire Super Bowl. We saw, Saxonville, they got ripped up by the Steelers even though they won that game. And then the Patriots were able to beat them in the 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to win the AFC Championship game. I wonder how valuable someone like an Earl Thomas is in a modern-day NBA, or modern-day NFL, excuse me. I just don't know if a safety is that big of a difference maker anymore, but we'll see.
I think he could be for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, we'll see if a trade actually goes down. If there will be a trade, it will happen this month. I think once September hits, all bets are off from there on out. So that's kind of the latest there. Keep hitting us up with those questions. We will address them, and we've got Muddy Skeleton. No lies. They're at the game, folks. Hitting us up on Twitter.
Also, got to point this out.
Yep.
Thank you, young man, for watching here. This is called modern day television.
This is modern day TV.
People, sponsors out there, you're looking for the 18 to 24, the 15 to 24 age range. We got it, homie. We got it. We out here on YouTube hanging out with the guys. We're watching some football. That's what I'm talking about. That's modern day television right there.
All right. Yeah. We appreciate that, Muddy Skeleton. Thanks so much for watching the program, and enjoy the rest of the game. It's a good one so far, no doubt about it. Brian the Great on the comments section here on YouTube. What do you guys think about the 49ers in this game? Well, first of all, the injuries.
Yeah, God, holy cow. So the
snake bit.
Solomon Thomas was a head injury.
Okay.
Malcolm Smith was an ankle injury, though it is not considered serious, so he's fine. George Kittle was a shoulder injury, and his arm was pinned against his body as he went to the locker room. So that could be something bad. We've seen a lot of shoulder injuries, broken collarbone, separated shoulders. We still are not sure what Matt Breida went down with. However, from my, the doctorate degree that I got from Emerson College, just kidding, I don't have a doctorate degree from Emerson College, it looked like a stinger. It looked like someone's knee went into the back end of his shoulder. That's painful. I think they just took him out for precautions.
All right, so for the 49ers, I mean, you just hope you can get out of this game healthy, to be honest with you. And I think Kyle Shanahan and the rest of the coaching staff will be pretty conservative with who they have out there the rest of the way. Chance asking, in your opinion, who is the most underrated team in the NFL? And I think I put out a tweet recently of my top 5 underrated teams, so I want to make sure I get it right. So I'm going to pull it up because there are a few out there. I think in terms of underrated, it seems like year in and year out there's a good collection of overhyped teams and not necessarily a good amount of underrated teams because everybody likes to talk up their team. That's the problem.
Underrated teams are tough to base on because, what do you consider to be an underrated
team?
Like,
is relative.
An underrated team a team that didn't have their starting quarterback last year that does this year? I mean, you could make an argument that about a fourth of the teams in the NFL this year are more interesting simply because they have a better quarterback situation. I mean, like the entire AFC South is going to be more interesting this year because Marcus Mariota has a new offense. Deshaun Watson's going to be fully healthy. Andrew Luck is back. Like, are the Colts an underrated team because Andrew Luck is back? Like, the qualifications are a little shaky for me.
Correct. So here's my list, and I will count you guys down 5-1, my 5 underrated NFL teams. Number 5, the New York Jets. Really like the young defense that they have.
I can vibe with that.
I think that Josh McCown will do enough. Teddy Bridgewater maybe will get some starts, and then eventually it's Darnold. Number 4, the New York Giants, Harris. Keep an eye on them.
See, another team that's like, are they underrated? Like for instance, what do you think? Like, what do you think their record's going to be this year? Like 8-8, 9-7.
I could see 7-9, but I could also see a ceiling of 10-6.
For me, an underrated team classifies as a team that was bad last year that made some nice, controllable moves this offseason, who project to just simply be better this year. For instance, I think another team that you have on your list, but I'll let you go through your list, and then we'll end up bringing it up.
We got the Giants at 4 here, Detroit Lions at 3. It's pretty easy to see Detroit as an underrated team because not a lot of people talk about the Detroit Lions. Matt Patricia, the new head coach. Offensive line is going to be a lot better. LeGarrette Blount there at running back. Matt Stafford isn't a bad quarterback. So let's get that out of the way here.
Matt Stafford can't win anything. You know my feelings about Matt Stafford. James Yoder and I, CEO Chat Sports, feel very similarly about Matt Stafford as one of the single most overrated players in the history of football. James Yoder
from the back corner
says that he will end up leading the NFL all-time in passing yards simply because he's been around long enough. But
end of the first quarter, by the way, in Santa Clara, Cowboys up 7-0.
I'm not a Matt Stafford guy. I understand his stats at the end of the year will always look great. Find me a game that he has won that's important. Like, in his entire football career, from high school until now, what are the most important games that he won? He didn't win anything overly spectacular at Georgia, and now he runs into the NFL and has never won a playoff game and has never been able to lead his team to significant success, despite being in the NFL for what seems like almost a decade now. I'm off board Matt Stafford. I've tried to defend him so many times, and he keeps making me look stupid.
Okay, I want to answer the full question here from my guy, so let's continue the list. Yeah, quick tangent. Number 2, how about this team, Harris? The Denver Broncos. Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, Ronald Darby is there. Bradley Roby, I always confuse the two. Bradley Roby is there in Denver, and then Chris Harris Jr. at corner as well. The defense is good. The offensive line should be better, and then you have Case Keenum at quarterback, who is better than Trevor Siemian.
That, to me, is the definition of an underrated team because everyone is picking the Broncos to end up last in this division.
Which is wrong.
If you look at the team, just take a step back and look at the roster. You add Case Keenum at wide receiver, or at quarterback. Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas, still your number 1 and 2. They draft 2 really, really talented guys.
Sutton is like shining.
Position. Yeah, Cortland Sutton out of SMU, Deshaun Hamilton out of Penn State, 2 really good guys. The running back core seems to be okay, but I'm excited to see what they can do with Royce Freeman. And the defense. The defense is still...
It's going to win them 6-7 games.
They still have the best pass rusher in football. Von Miller is still a part of their team. You said it with Bradley Chubb. Like, Chris Harris is still there. Justin Simmons had a really good rookie season for them. They're the definition of an underrated team. I don't think they make the playoffs, but I think that they're going to make an impact this year. They could end up being spoiler here or there.
Number 1 underrated team, the Tennessee Titans. I could talk about them for the next half hour.
Are they underrated?
I think they are underrated.
Who's underrating them, though? I mean, everyone's picking them to win the division.
No, they're not.
They're not?
What are you talking about?
I picked them to win the division.
Everybody's picking Jacksonville.
Oh, please. There has never been a team more primed for regression than the Jacksonville Jaguars. Come on, people. The defense is good. Blake Bortles is still the quarterback, and their offense in general got worse. I know Norwell's there. I get it. But I'm sorry. I think they are the prime regression candidate in the NFL this year.
All right, well, my answer is the Tennessee Titans, the most underrated team in the NFL. We'll see what happens. Want to give some love to Bray in the comments section as well, asking, Harrison, Cam, who is your dark horse to make the playoffs? I'll answer that question. I think it's the Oakland Raiders. I think the Raiders win the AFC West. I think John Gruden takes that team to the playoffs, hosts a home game. I mean, you look at it from many perspectives, Harris. First of all, this is a team that was potentially a Super Bowl contender in 2016 if it weren't for the Derek Carr injury. I think Derek Carr could get back to that 2016 form.
I agree.
Maybe it's addition by subtraction with the whole Michael Crabtree situation. You have Martavis Bryant there now. You have Jordy Nelson there, Amari Cooper as well. And we have some swag here from our friends at Bet DSI.
There you go.
You look like a coach, by the way.
I'm the old ball coach.
You are. That's a good look, buddy.
Oh, here we go.
Bet DSI. Get it done, folks. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NFL120 for your 120% deposit bonus.
There we go.
Throw the swag on over, James Yoder. We got a little fleece action here.
Look at this.
Beautiful. Bet DSI swag. You guys could get some of this too. DM us on Twitter if you want some free stuff. It's pretty easy. DM us. Hit us up with your address. We'll send it on over for free.
You know what? Because we are unfortunately not sponsored by Arizona Iced Tea, I'm just going to pour out the very small rest of this.
We're jerseyed up.
We got sip on my Bet DSI glass.
Harris Rubenstein on Twitter at Sportstein.
Yes.
Hit me up at Mr. Rogers99. DM us. Free stuff from Bet DSI. We love Bet DSI. They do great things.
I love this glass.
And you love that glass.
I do. I might take this home. This is really nice.
I'm very warm right now.
Take this home.
This is nice. This is comforting.
I
might take a nap. Can you take the rest of the way?
Yeah, no, I totally got it. So we have another injured 49er. Looks to be an offensive lineman as we get back to the game here. But this will end up being 4 injuries
for the Niners?
5 now. This is their 5th now. Yeah, because Matt Breida went down, and that made it 4. But man, I mean, it looks like an offensive lineman. I want to say that might be Laken Tomlinson. 75. That's
not
Laken
good.
Tomlinson.
They just signed him to an extension, slated to be the starting left guard for the 49ers. So if the injuries continue to pile up, this is not good. I believe that I thought I saw Josh Garnett on my screen there for a second. It'd be interesting to see how he does throughout this game. He's battling Jonathan Cooper.
Isn't he really good? I thought he was very good.
I just remember that Garnett's dealing with a knee injury, so he's probably not going to see any reps tonight. Cooper probably won't, but maybe he will. We'll see.
That was actually number 76. That was actually Gary Gilliam. I'm sorry for freaking out every 49ers fan out
I was going to say.
But he is walking off the field. He is walking off the field with health, but he did dap up one of the Cowboys players, so I think he's going to be okay.
All right, Harris, another question coming in from JC Gaming this time. I love this question.
Oh, God.
What do you all think about Colin Kaepernick? Now, we could go in many different directions with this.
Do you know what? I'm going to go with the right direction here.
Okay.
I think if this topic in terms of the anthem and Colin Kaepernick was never spoken about again and we were done with it and we actually maybe focused on the actual things that the NFL players are doing off the field in terms of charitable allocations and the money they're giving away, the world would be a better place. I think this has caused so much commotion and so much chaos. Regardless of what side you're on with this, the fact that there's even sides of this is the first thing. It has caused so much chaos and so much stress and so much unnecessary bad press. If the situation ended today, the sport would be better for it. And that is where I've always sat with this. I don't care if a player wants to do something on the sidelines. I understand the people that don't like it. But the sport has gotten worse because the conversation has started to what's the word I'm looking for here? Overshadow the actual play on the field. And that's my biggest issue.
Colin Kaepernick is still looking for a job.
Yep.
He's got an ongoing collusion case against the NFL, alleging that the NFL owners are colluding against him, keeping him out of the league here. Now, whether or not that is true, I think is beside the point. I was always of the thinking that, well, maybe Colin Kaepernick has this collusion case because he's trying to put pressure on the owners to be like, all right, we don't want to pay these legal fees. let's just sign him, and then he will drop the collusion case. And look, Eric Reed was getting some looks from some teams. He, too, has a collusion case against the NFL. If you were trying to sue your employer, it's not a good look, and you're probably not going to get a hard look to be signed.
Yeah, to be totally honest, if if I ever got fired from our lovely establishment here at Chat Sports, wanted to get rehired, and proceeded to sue Chat Sports, I cannot imagine that I would actually get rehired. Yeah, Brett is saying no, I wouldn't get rehired, so I don't think that is actually good. Like, remember, the NFL is still a private organization, and all these teams are still owned. This isn't some public, some public thing where everyone gets a say. I think from Colin Kaepernick to have a collusion case against the NFL, totally understand. It's been 2 years. Eric Reed.
Here's the premise of the question: is the NFL colluding against Kaepernick?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
You're telling me all 32 owners went into a conference room and said, "Hey, let's keep him out of the league."
I don't think they did that. But if you're telling me that all the NFL owners, when they have the option to sign Colin Kaepernick, are probably just like, no, I don't want that headache, then fine. I don't think it's collusion, but I think all the NFL owners are on the same page. It is not worth the headache.
That.
It's not worth the headache. Look, it is so hard to win in the NFL.
Stand or kneel for the national anthem, folks. Let us know.
Or give me a D for don't care. No, I'm kidding.
You got to pick one, but stand or kneel.
I just don't know. I don't think that they got into a room and, agreed, we're not going to let Colin Kaepernick back in the league. But if you're telling me that NFL owners aren't talking about not allowing or not signing Colin Kaepernick, of course they are. Why would they sign him at this point? Let me ask you, Cam. You guys are all giggling at something. If Colin Kaepernick...
Well, we're replaying what we just talked about earlier. I go, are they colluding? You say yes. I go, so they got into a room and said, let's keep him out of the league. Well, no, they didn't do that.
No, I took it back. If your definition of colluding is that, they all got into a room and had a meeting,
that is the definition of collusion. That is what Kaepernick is alleging.
Is he alleging that all 32 owners got into a room and said, we're not signing Colin Kaepernick? I think what the NFL owners did is that, look, these guys still talk to each other. I mean, they're all friends away from their teams. I guarantee you they've all talked about this. They're like, should we sign Colin Kaepernick? Hell no. You think Jerry Jones hasn't talked about this with Jed York?
By the way, some people are saying D for don't care.
Thank you.
They're on board with you.
You think Arthur Blank of the Atlanta Falcons hasn't talked to Robert Kraft about signing Colin Kaepernick? You think John Schneider hasn't talked about this with every other NFL
You apparently
owner?
have no idea what collusion means, according to Dallas Cowboys report.
If Colin Kaepernick ends up getting signed, it will be one of the great miracles in the history of the NFL. It will be. But do
you think he will ever again?
No, he's done. I think that secretly NFL owners all agreed to not sign him. I don't think they got into a huge room with a massive round table, put the hammer of Thor in the middle of the table and said, we will not sign Colin Kaepernick. But these guys talk to each other. And I guarantee you they all said, you know what? It's not worth the headache. Is his play on the field worth the amount of negative press that your team will get? Every NFL owner simultaneously said, no.
Here's a good perspective from Tom on YouTube Live. Colin Kaepernick isn't getting signed because he's a distraction and he doesn't fit many teams' schemes, period. And I mean, I guess, in a way...
Tell me he couldn't be the backup quarterback for the Seahawks.
We're also talking about a quarterback that not too long ago was in the Super Bowl against the Ravens.
Who, mind you... Look, I know he wasn't great when, his last season in the NFL... There are a lot of quarterbacks that Colin Kaepernick is still better than. Were you telling me that Colin Kaepernick is worse than Josh McCown?
And Tom, let me ask you this. Would you rather watch really bad quarterback play from the likes of Scott Tolzien and Tom Savage and all these piss-poor quarterbacks that are getting starts these days, or actually an exciting player on the football field like a Colin Kaepernick, running around with the football, extending the plays, and doing stuff like that? Because in the end, we want to be entertained, and we're not going to be entertained by Jacoby Brissett.
We had a question here from Sergio Valencia saying, where is JG? He only played one series, and they took him out. I believe CJ Beathard is still in at this time, which is fine, which is what you want.
All right, so questions coming in about Dez Bryant. Would you sign Dez Bryant if you were an NFL GM? Let us know in comments. Where do you think Dez is going? Because you know where I think he's going.
You think he's going to the Patriots, which
I do.
Makes absolutely no sense to me. I think he's going to go to Cleveland because look, if you're the Browns, your entire goal this year is to win games. It does not matter. I understand they're trying to change the culture. You want to win football games. You're not trying to get to the playoffs. You're not trying to go to the Super Bowl. You're trying to win a football game. Dez will help you do that. But the Patriots, I mean, like, they don't need Dez. What do they need him for? Like,
here's why they need Dez
Bryant. It's so complicated.
And I guess maybe it's not necessarily a need, but they could use him.
Well, of course, every NFL team could, in theory, use Dez Bryant. Ooh, did you catch that ball?
Well, we saw a big-time play right here
number 19
from the 49ers.
Let's see, number 19 on the
Aldrick
49ers.
Robinson. Great catch.
Nice.
Now,
great catch.
Robinson had a good week of practice too, Harris. Caught a 70-yard touchdown pass from Garoppolo. Longest completion of training camp.
I've been waiting for Aldrick Robinson to break out for what seems like 5 years now. And
Beautiful
he always
throw
makes
by
these
Beathard.
Crazy catches down the field. I mean, he did this with the Falcons. He did this with the Redskins. And he's just never been able to get that consistency going. Who knows? Maybe he finds it in San Francisco.
You got to wonder if he makes the team. But then we have an interception here on the play. Dallas Cowboys with possession. And a big-time turnover there for Dallas, already in the lead by 7. Joe Thomas with the theft.
He's been having a great game for the Cowboys. Bunch of tackles so far. Now he gets the interception here off of the tip. Good play there by number 35 on the Dallas Cowboys. Kayvon Frazier with a nice tip, applying pressure to C.J. Beathard. And now here we are. Nice pick there by Joe Thomas.
Joe Thomas out of NC State.
These are the kind of plays that you need to see from the Cowboys in the regular season. They need these field-flipping plays, big-time turnovers. I thought that last year they didn't really have that kick behind their defense. But if these young secondary players can get some hype behind them and get some turnovers going, that is going to be where the success comes from. And we'll see if Cooper Rush can come in and lead a scoring drive. Here's Bo Scarborough, though, who's now in the game.
Bo just losing a couple of yards on that play on that 1st and 10, but Dallas coming off an interception there in the lead, 7-0.
Do you think that cutting – like, I know that when you wanted the Cowboys to cut Dez for this year, and I understand why you thought that, but realistically, was cutting Dez this year the right decision for the Cowboys? Was it a factor of you'd rather be a year too early than a year too late? Or was it just that was just a right decision this year?
I don't think either way would have been the perfect decision in the end. Because, first of all, you have a Dallas Cowboys team that I think understands that it's going through a bit of a transitional phase here. You know, I mean, they have some new coaching staff kind of coming in, and for the Dallas Cowboys, trying to move on from Dez Bryant, I think, was a symbolic move to kind of usher in a new era of wide receivers. There's a reason why they brought in Deontay Thompson, Allen Hurns. They drafted Michael Gallup because they're trying to see what they have in this new crop. Not necessarily, oh, can we drag out Dez Bryant as long as we possibly can? Because, honestly, his production has dipped, and it's been quite obvious.
If I was the Cowboys, I would want to give Bo Scarborough. We've mentioned him a couple times here, but my problem with the Dallas Cowboys in terms of cutting Dez Bryant, and I understand why they did it. My issue is doing it without a plan. It very much seems like they waited way too long to make a decision, and then all of a sudden they made a decision with no backup plan whatsoever. And I hate making moves like that. As someone who's been following the Patriots now for 2 decades, that is what they do best. They never make an outward decision without a backup plan. And the one time they did with trading away Jimmy Garoppolo, they got absolutely killed for it. You got to make decisions with a backup plan in mind. And I think the Cowboys, they let Stephen Jones take over for a second and allowed him to make a move. And his move was to cut Dez. But their replacement was Allen Hurns and Michael Gallup and relying on Cole Beasley to be a #1 target and losing Jason Witten. It's just they didn't have a contingency plan, and I think it's going to end up ruining their season. I mean, Dak needs guys to throw to. That he doesn't have the overall skill set to win games by himself. We saw that last year without Zeke. I didn't like it. I thought it was a little bit premature.
Tom saying that the Cowboys are fine without Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant tweeted he will be visiting with the Cleveland Browns next week, so maybe he signs with them. Cleveland has the most cap space in the NFL as we stand, and they just lost Corey Coleman, traded him to the Bills.
Got a question here from Aiden Hill asking who's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. It's Tom Brady.
I agree.
It's Tom Brady. Tom
Downey would disagree.
Aaron Rodgers might be the best quarterback in the NFL next year when Tom Brady is 42 years old. But going into this season, a perfectly healthy Tom Brady coming off an MVP season is the best quarterback in football. He has shown no signs of decrease. He was fantastic in the Super Bowl, and he's the best quarterback in football. Like, it's insane.
Tom Brady is the best quarterback as we stand right now. Now, you are a Patriots fan. So
I am, but even if I wasn't a Patriots fan,
I am not, and I agree.
Anyone who wins an MVP at 41 years old you are totally allowed to be the best player at your position going into the next season. Until someone proves me otherwise, Tom Brady is the best player in the NFL. Like, who else impacts their team more? And I said this to you off air. I'll say this right on air, right here, right now. Without Tom Brady this year, this New England Patriots roster is an 8-8 football team. Absolutely. They don't have a lot of top-end talent, but they have Tom Brady. And that's why they're going to go 12-4, and that's why they're going to win the AFC, and that's why he's the MVP and the best quarterback in football. I'm done.
Mic drop. Keep those questions coming on YouTube Live. We're on Facebook Live as well, on 49ers by Chat Sports, as well as the Cowboys page.
It's been just an okay game so far. That Dak throw that he had down the sidelines to score the first touchdown has been the best play of the game so far. Outside of that, the 49ers injuries is probably our top headline right now. Solomon Thomas going down, Matt Breida going down, George Kittle went down as well. Gary Gilliam went down, and then I believe I'm missing one other player. Malcolm Smith also went down with an ankle injury.
Who's been dinged up before. He missed all of the offseason last year, yeah.
He's only really ever, no offense to Malcolm Smith, he's a good player, got his money. The dude has played one good NFL game, and that was the Super Bowl.
By the way, Aiden just asked a follow-up question. Okay, who's the best quarterback ever?
Tom Brady.
Still Tom Brady.
It's still Tom Brady.
I'm
sorry. He's been.
I have a feeling Aiden is a 49ers fan and was hoping that we'd say Joe Montana.
Joe Montana is a fantastic quarterback, and Joe Montana and Tom Brady are actually unbelievably similar players with unbelievably similar backgrounds and with very interestingly, again, similar skill sets. But Brady has won more Super Bowls. He has been to more Super Bowls. He ranks higher in total career touchdowns and total yards and quarterback rating. It's Tom Brady. Come on, people.
Here's a dark horse for best quarterback of all time. Joe Flacco, Super Bowl MVP back in the 2012 season. Am I right?
I'm not.
Joe Flacco. Come on, folks. Come at me in comments.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He beat the Patriots in Foxborough. The Miracle at Mile High against Peyton Manning. You tell me a quarterback can beat Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in the same playoff and not be the greatest quarterback ever?
Well, you know what? If he's the greatest quarterback ever.
Bray says Joe sucks. Come on, Bray.
How did Julian Edelman single-handedly beat Joe Flacco, though, in the 2014 AFC Divisional
Okay, well, Julian Edelman beat that really bad secondary.
Oh, he beat the second.
And Sharice Wright and all the bad cornerbacks.
I forgot about the back-to-back blown 14-point leads in an AFC playoff game. Oh, so close.
JC Gaming goes, you're going to make me throw up. Please stop. I'm sorry. I'm delusional, all right? You got to forgive me.
Here's an interesting question. I think Alec has asked this question twice, saying, who is a better quarterback, Dak or Stafford?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I don't hate Matt Stafford enough to say that Dak Prescott is better than him.
I can't say that
Matt Stafford has a way better arm than Dak does. I like Dak as someone who I hate the term game manager for a quarterback. All quarterbacks manage the game.
Wait a minute. What do you mean by that?
I don't like the term game manager. I think it's a very strange label to attach on a quarterback that doesn't make a lot of sense. People called Alex Smith a game manager. The dude threw for over 4,000 yards last year and led the NFL in passer rating. How is that game managing?
But before that,
Dak Prescott, to me, is not a game manager. He is a league-average NFL quarterback, and that's fine when you have one of the three best running backs in football. He's a league-average quarterback. Matt Stafford is a borderline top 10 guy. Calling someone a game manager is such a broad term. Like, what does that mean? That they just hand the ball off? They manage the game. They make sure that there's no turnovers?
You just can't be the reason they lose. That is what a game manager is. A game manager label is a very real thing.
What happens if you're the reason that they win?
Well, then, you're obviously not a game manager.
If you label Dak Prescott as a game manager and he comes out and throws 4 touchdowns in back-to-back games, he's not a game manager anymore.
See, he wouldn't do that.
But he's done it before.
Thrown 4 touchdown passes.
Not 4 touchdowns, but he single-handedly won them football games before 3 touchdowns in a game. Thank you, Brett Scott. Like, I just don't understand. game manager is such a broad term given to quarterbacks who aren't Tom Brady or Drew Brees. I just feel like it's this weird blanket label. Like, Alex Smith has been the game manager forever. Then great, he game managed the Chiefs to multiple consecutive playoff appearances and was maybe one of the top 5 best quarterbacks in football.
I'm not here to say Alex Smith is a bad quarterback or anything like that.
I don't understand the term.
But this is the fact of the matter. There are quarterbacks out there, Harris, that can throw the football 40 to 45 times and win you a game, and there are quarterbacks that can't do that.
Yes.
Joe Flacco, for example, I'll be honest with you guys, can't do that. Alex Smith can't do that. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees can do that. Yes. It's just the reality of the situation.
I like putting quarterbacks into tiers. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4. To me, Matt Stafford, Tier 2 quarterback, but kind of towards the bottom end of it. Dak Prescott, Tier 3 quarterback, though kind of a little bit above average in terms of the Tier 3 quarterbacks. Other quarterbacks in the Tier 3 category are a Jameis Winston or a Marcus Mariota, or quarterbacks that just haven't really taken that elite next step. Matt Stafford took the next step as a quarterback. He has led the league in passing yards before. He's thrown a ton of touchdowns. But calling someone a game manager implies.
Don't forget about Rivers, too. Somebody mentioned Rivers.
Tier 2. I put him in Tier 2. I mean, he's been around for so long. But implying that someone is a game manager is implying that they will never win a football game on their own, and they are strictly in there to not lose. That is not how football is played. Sure, you can have backup quarterbacks come in and manage the game, but if you're a starting quarterback, you're either really good, average, in a certain tier, or you're just bad. Like, bad quarterbacks aren't. Brandon Whedon is not a game manager. Brandon Whedon is a bad quarterback. I don't understand the label. I don't like the label. I think it's lazy. It doesn't apply any actual fact.
I understand that. All right, we're flashing some live comments here on the broadcast. Yoshi saying Chaz Green is not making the team. There was some buzz out there that maybe Chaz Green was on the trade block, had a holding call.
I don't know who would trade for him.
Already in this game. I mean, poor Chaz Green. The guy is just a whipping boy of being a bad tackle.
That's why they brought in Cameron Fleming. And they took him from the Patriots this past offseason. They brought him in to be their swing tackle. But overall, I mean, look, you're hoping that Lyle Collins and Tyron Smith can play the full healthy season. You add Cameron Fleming. Behind Chaz Green, they have rookie Jake Campos. So, all this overall, Marcus Martin can play. I don't think he can play tackle. I want to say, no, he didn't play tackle. He played center at Virginia Tech. Clemson, excuse me. I just don't. Why trade him? Like, you need depth. Depth at tackle is one of the most important things in all of football. Because you lose your starting left tackle like they did last year and you have no one to replace him with, you're done. It's over. Eagles last year, lose Jason Peters, had a fantastic backup for him, won the Super Bowl. Sometimes that's the difference.
Gloria on the Dallas Cowboys Facebook page asking, do you have to have a Twitter to win free stuff? Absolutely not, Gloria. Please DM the Facebook page, and we will get you covered with some free swag from BetDSI. Comment coming in from Lacey. Favorite time of the year. It's football time. Cowboys Nation. Lacey enjoying a Cowboys lead right now, 7-0. 1st and 10 for the Dallas Cowboys here, as we are in about the midway point of the second quarter here, Harris. And pretty quiet game since that really beginning touchdown pass from Dak Prescott.
Cooper Rush just missed an easy pass down the sideline to Michael Gallup. Could have easily just let him down the field, but wasn't able to complete the pass. This game overall, and I said this during our initial preseason little game recap that we did earlier, hashtag no injuries. That is the most important part of this, and as of right now, the 49ers are not applying hashtag no injuries. They've had a lot of injuries tonight to some very important players.
You really do look like a coach with that visor.
I'm about to take it off. It's starting to squeeze the heck out of my skull. So.
All right, you take care of yourself there, buddy.
Put it on a little prematurely.
If you guys want to be on the live broadcast, be sure to comment, and we'll show you here on the screen how many touchdowns for Dak this season. Now, that's a real question.
That's an interesting one. Yes,
as you get served here.
This is absolutely
beer live on the broadcast.
Yeah, Cam Rogers does not drink beer because strange.
Because I'm just weird. Using your BetDSI glass, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. Dude, I'm going to hold it like the fancy boy that I am.
Nice little cocktail glass.
Yes. Cam, we got an interesting comment here from Aiden Hill.
Yep.
Who's going to the Super Bowl this year? I actually haven't heard your full prediction. I know that you think the Vikings are going to win.
Yep.
Are you Vikings-Patriots? Do you think the AFC is going to spit someone out this year?
Well, I really don't want to reveal the answer key to the exam just yet. It is August 9th. But I guess I will.
Hey, do you know, if you gave out the answer key last year, then everyone failed because you had the Vikings winning the Super Bowl last year also.
Shut up, would you? Just get off the set. No, I think the Minnesota Vikings represent the NFC. I really like this team. I think Kirk Cousins gets them all the way, and I think that they will be a legit squad to watch out for in that conference. As for the AFC, I think it's New England.
Yeah.
I mean, it's New England. It's New England. It's New England. If somehow Baltimore can figure out a way to
go, Bo,
make some noise, we'll see.
Yeah.
Bo Scarborough with a big-time run.
Breaking a tackle in the middle of the field, getting to the outside and getting about 28 yards on that one. Good run for Bo. I think he's going to be a fun part of this Cowboys offense. I know that when they drafted him, Tom Downey is not crazy at all about Bo Scarborough.
Nice little shifty move.
He's saying he's slow, this and that. Look, big running backs in the NFL usually have there is a history of success. LeGarrette Blount has a history of success in the NFL being a bigger running back. We've seen other Derrick Henry is going to have a lot of success. Also, I mean, former Dallas Cowboy Marion Barber had a lot of success as a bigger running back in the NFL. Marshawn Lynch, obviously, as well. I don't think Bo Scarborough is going to be some superstar, but he can spell Ezekiel Elliott and get you some nice short yardage gains.
Dallas Cowboys up 7-0, and they're moving the football quite effectively inside the red zone now. So right now, my bet doesn't look great on BetDSI.
No, I'm killing
49ers are favored by 4. I threw some cash down on chatsports.com/bet. Gonna have to bet another game.
Yeah, you might have to try again.
Win some money back.
That's the fun about betting, is that you can always make your money back the next time that you bet. And with that free money that you're getting from BetDSI with that 120% cash bonus, it's easy. Even if you lose, you end up winning. You'll win eventually. That's how this works. By the way, shout out to Anthony DeLoach, who called me a bandwagoner.
You are a bandwagoner.
I am not. Who then proceeded to take it back and say, as I want to say, respect Harris. I am no bandwagon Patriots fan. This has been in my blood since I was born. Throwback to the 1994-1995 Super Bowl. I'm 6 months old. My dad is wearing a huge Patriots sweatshirt. I'm sitting there next to him with a huge smile on my face, holding up a number 1. Even though
while you show your age, do you want to talk about your mom or anything like that while we're at it?
Even though the Patriots got wrecked against the Packers in that Super Bowl. Curse you, Packers! Brett Favre. Desmond Howard. Desmond Howard.
You weren't even old enough to understand what was happening.
No, but I know that Drew Bledsoe didn't get his Super Bowl starting quarterback trophy. It makes me angry. I drew Bledsoe on my wall growing up as a kid.
Saw a comment, by the way. Somebody, I think it's Bray, actually has the Jacksonville Jaguars going to the Super Bowl as we have a very close touchdown.
Whoa.
I think he's just out of bounds
there. Do you know who that was? That was Blake Jarwin.
Blake Jarwin, the tight end. Who's going to emerge at tight end this year for the Dallas Cowboys?
I regret to inform the Dallas Cowboys people, I don't think anyone is going to. And I don't think they necessarily need anyone either. Like, they don't, like, I don't think the offense requires an elite tight end. Sure, it was great when you had Jason Witten, one of the 5 best tight ends in the history of football.
Where's hashtag Rico, by the way?
Hashtag Rico Gathers. I just don't think that this Cowboys offense is desperate for a tight end, and they don't seem it either. They just need someone competent. Competency is very important here. Though we did get a nice little back shoulder fade. Oh, that was a terrible throw. Back shoulder fade from Cooper Rush, attempting to get it to Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup's got some hops, but
he does.
That was not a good throw by Cooper Rush. Not great.
Well, you know what I'm taking away with Cooper Rush? His jersey is clean. He's getting pass protection.
He's just I gotta ask the Cowboys fans out there, what is the deal with the backup quarterback situation? Because it seems like everyone has lost their minds last year over Cooper Rush. Now we go into this year, they drafted Mike White, and there's been a little bit of buzz around him. But I mean, who do the Cowboys fans want to be the backup quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys? I mean, I kind of want it to be Mike White. I mean, I've been very unimpressed with Cooper Rush tonight.
And I mean, we know who Cooper Rush is. I mean, it's just the reality of the situation. We've seen him play on the football field plenty of times.
Aiden Hill, we see your comment, and we will answer your question after we talk about Bo Scarborough just scoring a touchdown for the Cowboys. There it is, baby. Give me that BetDSI money. Let me make some free cash from BetDSI. That's what I like to see. Chatsports.com/bet. Get that money today. If you were like me and bet money on the Cowboys, you are feeling pretty good right now. Bo Scarborough, though, like I said, short area, short yardage runs, easy touchdown.
49ers making me look like a moron tonight. Great run there by Scarborough. I mean, that's a big boy Alabama football run.
Because, look, I understand that he doesn't have great speed, but Bo Scarborough has two qualities to him. A, he's incredibly difficult to tackle because he's so large. And B, he's coming from an Alabama football program that taught him how to play. Like, Alabama's pumped out a lot of very good running backs over the years.
Some maybe haven't really panned out.
Of course, Trent Richardson was terrible. But, I mean, Bo Scarborough is a 7th-round pick. If he can end up being a good backup quarterback behind Ezekiel Elliott for the next couple of years as they continue to turn him into a good player, you take that all day long. So I don't understand the hate towards Bo Scarborough. I think he's going to be a fine player.
Dallas Cowboys lead in this one 14-0 over the San Francisco 49ers. Now, for San Francisco, I think they're just trying to kind of coast through the rest of this game.
Don't lose anyone else.
Don't lose all of their bodies because that's kind of important for the regular season. But Jimmy Garoppolo looked pretty good. I saw some good plays from Richie James. I don't think we have any clarity at wide receiver outside of Garcon, Goodwood, and Trent Taylor, to be honest with you. Dante Pettis as well. And I thought maybe we'd get some of that. In the run game, it's just been as well for San Francisco.
I haven't been able to get anything going. I think they wanted to see what Breida was going to be able to bring to the table tonight. And I think if you kind of look at the depth chart, it goes McKinnon, Breida, and then it just really drops off. I mean, Raheem Mostert, Joseph Williams.
Yeah.
Jeremy McNichols, I remember him from Hard Knocks with the Bucs. He came out of Boise State. He's not very good, though. You have Jeffrey Wilson. It just doesn't.
Joe Williams, of course, is trying to make the roster as well, but I don't know if he does.
We'll see what happens to Joe Williams. A lot of talent, though. He just can't really stay on the field, and that's very important. All right, Aiden Hill, you've asked us like 60 times, who is the Rookie of the Year this year? Cam?
Oof.
There isn't really a rookie quarterback that I think is going to come in and dominate. I think that Darnold isn't going to have enough play time to really take it away from one of the wide receivers and running backs that we have this year.
You know who I think it's going to be? Ooh. It's going to be Bradley Chubb.
Oh, really?
I think it will be Bradley Chubb.
I like that.
Because I think Von Miller is going to distract so many offensive coordinators and offensive linemen that you're going to get a lot of Bradley Chubb one-on-one opportunities coming around the edge. I could see 11, 12 sacks from this kid in his rookie campaign, maybe a couple of forced fumbles, pass deflections as well. Give me Bradley Chubb, but hey, I would not be shocked to see a cornerback actually win this year.
A cornerback could be going as well. Denzel Ward can make an impact for the Browns.
Yep.
I'm going to go with a little bit of a hot take here because I think that the rookie, kind of like we saw last year, Alvin Kamara came out of nowhere in order to be one of the best running backs in football last year. I think we're going to get something very similar. I think Darius Geis is going to eat this year for the Redskins.
He's going to be evaluated for knee injury.
If he stays healthy. Yep. If he stays healthy, I think Darius Geis is going to bust down in a big way. He's got all the talent in the world. He runs over people. He's got the back-end speed as well to finish off runs. I think he is a really special talent. And I think his drop in the draft was weird. I understand that he had some off-the-field issues. But the biggest, worry from teams is that he was he wanted to play too much Fortnite or something. Look, Cam, I don't know about you. My mom was always very happy that I was at home playing video games versus going out and doing drugs and all kinds of crazy stuff. If his biggest issue is that he plays too many video games, man, there are a lot worse issues that Darius Geis could have as an NFL running back. And I'll make that very clear. Drugs, women, alcohol. The dude plays a lot of video games. Come on.
Just don't go out with porn stars, right, Jimmy?
Oh, no. God forbid you go out for a porn star and have a legitimate relationship with an attractive woman. Oh, it goes out of nowhere. It's crazy. DeAndre Hopkins is allowed to court Iggy Azalea on Instagram, but Jimmy Garoppolo wants to have a date with a porn star. Absolutely not.
All right, here's a question. Would you ever date a porn star?
Depends on the porn star.
Okay, well,
depends on the porn star.
I mean, blonde, do you prefer blonde, brunette? Where are you going?
Well, I'm a brunette kind of guy.
Okay.
I can't date blondes. My sister's a blonde. It's just a little weird for me.
What about Lisa Ann? And she's up there in age.
She's a little old.
She's premature.
Remember, I am a mama's boy. I am the son of a Jewish mother. So
here we go. We're talking about moms.
You asked. The whole mom thing just isn't there for me.
You took the bait.
But I don't understand this weird thing. Like, apparently I talk about my mother too much. It's not my fault, all right? It's not my fault. I am programmed to talk about my mother.
It's all good, buddy.
I just, Like, I've been asked before if I would date Mia Khalifa. Again,
hey, Anthony just said Mia Khalifa.
Yeah, no, that's what I was bringing up.
Oh, okay.
Mia Malkova is someone who I am quite fond of. However, overall,
he goes, the fact y'all know these names are kids.
We are men. We are men in our 20s.
What names? I'm just making these up.
Come on, who? Please.
I could have sworn.
Pornhub is a multi-million-dollar business.
I thought Lisa Ann was softcore.
Let's be.
I didn't think it was the whole thing.
We are men here drinking beer and watching football. Let's be real with ourselves. Except for you, you're drinking water.
Yeah. Electrolytes. They're important.
Let's be real with ourselves as the, why we know these names. Come on. We're all straight. Well, we're not all straight men here, but we are straight men here. We are comfortable with our personalities.
Yeah, sure.
Please.
By the way, is Mariah watching this show?
No, she is asleep because the poor thing. I'm not going to go into my relationship problems. Or not a problem at all.
You talked enough about your mother. We don't need to talk about it.
Actually not a problem. The poor girl has an injury and she's on pain pills and she's asleep. So we're going to leave it at that.
So it sounds like it's going to be Mia Khalifa tonight. Is that the plan, buddy? All right.
We're off the rails.
What's going on with this game?
Preseason week 1. Let's go.
14-0 Dallas Cowboys getting closer to overtime. Joe Williams in the game for the 49ers right now. And he did not see the football field last year, Harris. And there's the reality that he may not even make the 53-man roster.
Which is stunning because he had a lot of talent coming out of Utah
last year.
Ton of talent.
Highly touted. The problem is Matt Breida's playing really well. Now, we'll see what happens with this injury.
He was great last year.
And Raheem Mostert has special teams ability. So he's that third running back. Joe Williams does not bring any special teams prowess, if you will. So if San Francisco keeps 3 running backs on its roster, Williams could be on the outside looking in, which would be very interesting.
It would be very interesting. And I understand the contract they gave out to Jerick McKinnon. Actually, I understand why they brought him in. I don't understand how much money
Shanahan
they gave to him.
loves Jerick McKinnon.
I understand that. They had a lot of money to spend this offseason. So whatever. Go out and get your guy if you really think he's going to be a great fit. But I think they're going to really need to have an intense running game. I think we saw Matt Ryan, his best season with Kyle Shanahan came when both Tevin Coleman, were able to get going with that running game. And I think going into this season, Garoppolo is going to need a good running game behind him. I know that this is a passing league. I understand that quarterbacks dominate, but if every team is just assuming that Garoppolo is just going to throw every single time, then they're going to be able to key in on it and be able to stop it. I think they need a good running game. It's got to be someone in between the tackles. McKinnon can't really...
Well, he's a zone blocking kind of running back. He's a stretch guy.
So I think it'll be very interesting to see how exactly the 49ers offense goes this year. No elite tight ends on the roster. I don't think they have an elite wide receiver or running back on the team. So we'll be interested to see how all these pieces end up fitting together. I mean, that's the same concept for the Cowboys, though. They do have an elite prospect, or not prospect. They do have an elite player in Zeke Elliott.
By the way, you're getting some advice from our friend Anthony. When you're talking about porn, you shouldn't be talking about your mom at the same time.
I did not. That was from you, and I simply responded. But we're
future reference, in case it ever comes up again.
Move on. We're about to hit the 2-minute warning as well on our first preseason game between the Niners and the Cowboys. You having fun? This is great. We should do this more often.
1st and 20 there, as I see on my screen here, which is... Our screen on the board that you guys are watching is a little ahead of what we were watching on TV, so we're seeing it in both perspectives here. 2nd and 2 for the 49ers here, a little 2-minute drill action, which is always valuable in training camp and mini camp, but especially in the preseason. 2-minute drills are uber important.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, what we were talking before about like game managers and this and that, if you want to attach a label on what exactly a game manager is, C.J. Beathard would qualify as a game manager.
Harris Rubenstein. I hate the label game manager.
Harris
Rubenstein. C.J. Beathard is a game manager.
No, people are going to want to understand like what exactly is this term that I'm trying to throw into the world. I hate the term, but I know it's going to be used. You use it. Tom uses it. Unfortunately, Cam, my random tangents are not law. Sadly, they should be. Make me sports czar. But if you're wondering what exactly a game manager is, it'd be Beathard, who's a nice
hold on.
Who can come in.
There's a comment going on YouTube Live. Who watches more porn, Cam or Harris?
We are not having this discussion.
Alex says definitely Cam. Why is that definitely?
I mean, I do have
a girlfriend. What does that mean? So, I mean, they don't know that. You just admitted it now.
I mentioned this a couple times now.
Anthony says Harris definitely watches more porn.
We're not going to get into.
Thank you, Anthony.
Because guess what? There is a way to quantify it, but it's not something that's going to happen while we are on this broadcast. But if you want more information, there's no way that you're going to get it. So don't ask.
Hit him up at Sportstein on Twitter and get all the answers you possibly need.
I've been doing stuff on air since my first sports broadcast account when I was 10 years old. I have never been asked the question about porn while I've been doing a live broadcast. This is so funny. I love this.
It's a first for everything, my man.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we have a weigh-in comment on screen. Top Cowboys receiver this year. Go ahead and predict for us. Let us know what you think. Some Allen Hurns truthers out there. Some people think maybe Tavon Austin could be the next big thing. You are totally against that.
Stop making him, do we not already know what Tavon Austin is? If he was going to blow up, wouldn't he?
The jury's no longer out, is what you're saying?
He would have already blown up. I'll put it this way. If he was so good, if Tavon Austin was so good and he was so ready to blow up, Tariq Cohen, who has almost the same exact skill set, it took him 3 games. You tell me it's going to take Tavon Austin 6 years to turn into the player that we thought he was when it took Tariq Cohen 2 games? No, thank you. I'm done. But by the way, top Cowboys receiver this year, I said it before, say it again, Michael Gallup for me.
Yeah, I keep forgetting him.
He's really one of the only guys on this wide receiver core. Very important word I'm about to use here, separation. He's one of the only wide receivers on this team who can get separation on the outside against these corners. I don't think Allen Hurns is going to play the full season healthy. I don't think Cole Beasley is going to end up making a huge impact on this team. I think it's going to end up being Michael Gallup. It might not even break 1,000 yards. He can end up with 850 or something, but he'll still lead the Cowboys.
I almost feel like this question really doesn't matter because I think the offensive line is going to have a great year. I think Zeke's going to have a great year. I don't care who you are at wide receiver as long as you're not Drops McGee. If you have that play action working and you're going against cornerbacks on one-on-one coverage, press coverage, and you beat your cornerback and you have those linebackers sucking up in that play action too, you should have opportunities to catch football and make plays.
Yeah, I agree. And also we have a comment coming in saying that Tavon Austin also had Jeff Fisher. And last year he had the best offense in football and still did nothing.
Diddly.
Absolutely nothing. Which is why all the Sammy Watkins truthers out there who are trying to tell me
I'm a truther.
Good. Yeah, you are. Well, guess what? He was on the #1 scoring offense in the NFL last year.
They didn't use him right.
Didn't use him right. Please, he got completely outplayed by Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. Let's give that guy $16 million a year. That's going to be a great decision. No, thank you. I don't want it.
All right, less than a minute to go for the 49ers here. 3rd and 3 on the Dallas 28. Maybe we'll get some points from San Francisco before the half is over. That's always important, though. If you're in the preseason and you have the second stringers in and some of the reserves in at this point, you want some sort of momentum going into halftime. That's when you can really see what players can actually compete for a job in that second half, in that 3rd and 4th quarter there. C.J. Beathard still at quarterback for the 49ers, by the way. For those wondering how Jimmy Garoppolo looked, thought he looked decent. I mean, nothing extravagant. I think it's going to take some time for Garoppolo to learn the Kyle Shanahan scheme. The thing with the Kyle Shanahan offense is it is heavily reliant on pre-snap organization and pre-snap reads and understanding your calls. And for Garoppolo, that's going to take some time. Only has 5 games under his belt. If you want to count this one, 6 playing for Kyle Shanahan. So
preseason game. Look, I think the offseason of working with Shanahan is maybe the most important thing that he could have done. And I think that's why they got him on that huge extension. Because I think that this is what the Rams should do with Donald and what the Raiders should do with Mac. Sometimes you just have to say, you know what, screw it. Let's get this guy back, let's give him his money, and let's start figuring out this season.
Yep.
But you got the Raiders who are playing hardball stupidly with Khalil Mack. It's causing a huge distraction on the team.
Yeah, that's
Rams,
another
the same
thing.
thing with with Donald. But you have the 49ers who, instead of playing hardball with Jimmy G, said, you know what, you're our guy, here's your money, let's get in here and work. And I guarantee you, he's been in the team facilities 80 to 85% of the offseason. He's been doing a ton of work. So I'm all for giving Jimmy Garoppolo his money, though it was a lot of money. Though we do have a pass interference penalty here on Anthony Brown. Your guy Kendrick, you don't like Kendrick Bourne.
I love Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, Kendrick Bourne's your guy. Just got a defensive pass interference penalty called against his corner. 2nd and
2 on the Dallas 2-yard line here with less than 40 seconds left to go. I mean, Kendrick Bourne can be the 5th wide receiver for this team. I actually think he makes the roster here for the San Francisco 49ers as we have a near touchdown for San Francisco. Joe Williams to the Dallas 1-yard line. That'd be big for him.
There. Yeah, Leighton Vander Esch there with the tackle to keep him out of the end zone. I'm so concerned with this Cowboys defense because they cannot have.
You're so concerned.
I am because guess what? They cannot have another season where the entire defense is relying on Sean Lee. They just can't. Like at some point, that excuse is no longer acceptable. Like if you lose one guy out of 11 and you go from one of the best defenses in football to one of the worst defenses in football. Look, the Panthers lost Luke Kuechly, and were still able to keep everything together on defense. The Patriots lost Donta Hightower, and were able to keep it together on defense.
Touchdown San Francisco. Joe Williams in for the score.
There he is.
That's he has arrived in a way.
I mean, that's what the 49ers need. They need Joe Williams to actually produce for this team. I think him being on the block in terms of cutting him is a little unfair. I think it's a little – I don't think he's really had an opportunity to blow up.
Well, sure. I mean, he did not see a regular season snap. And, again, I'm assuming the 49ers keep 3 running backs on the roster this year. I could be completely wrong.
I don't know
they may have 4.
I mean, they're 4. Yeah, if they do it.
If they have 4, then Joe's making the team.
I mean, 4 is about the league average. I mean, most teams, keep at least 3, sometimes 4. I would keep Joe Williams on the roster. I mean, I think he's going to be more valuable than some 9th string corner or some, 10th string offensive lineman. You need guys at the running back position who can make plays and bust games open. And I think Jamal Williams on the Packers. I think Joe Williams will end up being that guy for the 49ers because I just don't think they have someone behind McKinnon. I know you like Breida, but I think Williams is a little bit more explosive.
Some really good blocks there from Magnuson on the interior there from San Francisco. Good run there for Joe Williams. Nice little crease. 6 rushes, 13 yards, and a touchdown for Joe tonight. Now, for the running back position, obviously you're tracking that for the 49ers. I'm more interested about the wide receiver position. Because I know you said that the San Francisco 49ers don't have that top-line wide receiver, and I don't think they need one.
Kick is good, by the way. I honestly, I totally forgot that Robbie Gould was still in the 49ers.
Oh, he's still around.
He's loving it.
He's
still
kicking.
Philly for a while. Now
he's been everywhere.
He's literally still kicking.
I did not even try to do that.
That was a good pun. Well done, Cam. Well done. Very proud.
So we're going to hit halftime pretty darn soon, and the Dallas Cowboys will have a 14-7 lead. I am still outside of my pick range, my spread range, because
sweet cash, homie.
Yeah, BetDSI had the line of -4 for the San Francisco 49ers. You too can bet just like us. JatSports.com/bet. Use that promo code NFL120, and you get free money. 120% deposit bonus when you deposit your money down. So get it done. You can also use the Cowboys 120 promo code if you're a Cowboys fan out there. Feel free to use that as well. Special offer for all you guys.
Louis Vuitton, the Don coming in. First of the comment saying Romo is a real QB and Dak is a game manager. Big difference. Not going to get into my rant again. Then doubles down on this comment saying Brady's getting old. He's in unknown territory. He may get injured this year. I could get injured tomorrow.
Exactly.
Cam could walk out the door and bust his face. Saying that someone may get injured just because of their age is a little bit strange, I would have to say. And also saying that Romo's a real QB. I'm a Romo fan. I've always been a Romo fan. I think that Romo, during his time in the NFL, was one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. But similar to Chris Paul in the NBA, will go down in NFL history as maybe one of the unluckiest players in the history of the sport. Injuries, random playoff crap that kept falling upon him. I'm all aboard the Romo train. I still think he's a Hall of Famer.
Okay, we've hit halftime in Santa Clara. The Dallas Cowboys lead 14-7 over the San Francisco 49ers. Harris, there was some buzz out there that we saw some protests during the national anthem tonight. I threw in a comment there on YouTube Live, and our guy Anthony chiming in about the anthem debate. Quote, the fact that people get mad from someone expressing their given right of free speech and freedom of practice, it goes against the argument people fought and died so people could have that. Basically saying you have the right to express yourself and people, gave up their lives for that right.
And also the other side of that argument, you have to understand that there are veterans out there, a couple who have reached out to me on Twitter, who are insulted by the players kneeling for the anthem because they believe that, look, we're fighting for you. We are putting our lives on the line. The least you can do is stand for the national anthem at a football game. So there are two sides to this. This is still a very fragile issue. But my biggest issue with all this, Cam, no one seems to want to find a solution. Everyone just wants to seem to pick a side, and that is not the way that problems get resolved in this country. Find a solution, figure it out, stop picking sides.
NFLPA trying to find that solution right now. All right, folks, we're going to hit a quick break here on NFL Game Night by Chat Sports. Be sure to hit up chatsports.com/bet. Send in those bets while you're waiting for us to come back on air. Stay tuned. Hey folks, welcome back to NFL Game Night here on Chat Sports. Little shift change. Harris Rubenstein taking a break. We've got James Yoder, the king of college football media. So he's going to bring a little college football spice to tonight's game, 49ers and Dallas Cowboys.
Cam, also a world-renowned sports bettor, of course.
Of course.
So that's the angle I'm bringing here. But I will say this. Still on hold, I just want to give a negative shout-out. Still on hold right here with Papa John's. I hope I just took my headset out because we're going back on air. They delivered us pizza. We're trying to feed us. We got producers. We got people working on this show. We're watching some phenomenal football, preseason football. It's like Christmas Day,
right,
New Year's Eve, and my birthday all wrapped up into one night. And Papa John's, the racist Papa John's, of course, but we still gave them our business because they make a decent pie sometimes. 90 minutes to deliver the pizza. Ice cold, no apology, and it was a disaster. And now they won't even pick up their phone because I want to complain.
Papa John's, ladies and gentlemen, you wonder why the founder got ousted and all of this stuff, and now they have this big lawsuit that's going on right now, and it's a bad situation for Papa John's, James. You got to give him some flack there.
Yeah, Papa John, there's a saying about somebody else, but it's basically if Papa John owned a funeral home, nobody would die, okay? That's what I'm giving that guy. But take a look at this big-time play right here, Cam.
Yeah, I mean, big-time completion here for Dante Pettis towards the 10-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys side of the field. C.J. Beathard still in the game here. Beautiful play action from Beathard, little bootleg action. Had plenty of time to load up and fire downfield. Dante Pettis, second-round selection out of Washington for the 49ers this year. A lot of buzz out of him from camp so far. Great throw there from Beathard, and now the 49ers are threatening 2nd and 8 now on the Dallas Cowboys 8-yard line. So the 49ers trying to get back here. Bet DSI with the line of -4 for the 49ers in this game, James. I put some money down on San Francisco. Hopefully I get some money back.
Cam, I feel like people might be searching me out because I said there's one game I am just guaranteeing that is going to be a guaranteed winner. It was 3.5, I think, when I bet it. I told people, 5 people DM me, I'm bet the 49ers 3.5 points. This thing is a lock. And, we're looking here. They're inside the 10. We're talking about shotgun from the 8-yard line. Beathard stepping back. He's going to throw to the right side. Incomplete.
A little sidearm throw, too.
Sidearm, yeah. So they're running, 4 wide there inside the 10-yard line, which is a little unusual, I guess. But I like the read. I think Beathard made a nice throw. Certainly was not complete, though. But we'll get up here. 3rd and goal from the 8. What do you got going on here, Cam, if you're making the play call here for the 49ers?
Well, I'm interested to see what they're going to use here with Raheem Mostert. He's in the game at running back, and he is probably going to be the number 3 running back for the 49ers this year. He could see some action as well, but unfortunately pass incomplete, actually intended for Mostert there. So now it's a 4th and 7 situation here for San Francisco. Probably going to kick a field goal and be down only by 4.
Yeah, Beathard flushed out of the pocket coming from his left, the right side of the Cowboys rush. He had to rush out to the right side, almost to the sideline. Really just had to force a pass there. But, 14-7, the 49ers are going to kick a field goal now. We're going to make it 14-10 if they nail this one. Ravi Gold, 26-yard field goal is good. And so 14-10 ball game. 49ers need to score a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion, Cam, for those bettors who took that 4-point line to at least get the tie.
We're getting there.
Not walk ahead and, I go home a loser tonight. So plenty of time, though. 3 minutes in, not even 3 minutes in to the second half. Robbie Gould with the field goal. Beathard, not looking terrible tonight. He's having a decent game. What do you have, 160 yards for the game so far?
Yeah, not too bad for Rod Smith at the beginning of the game for the Dallas Cowboys either. And Dante Pettis is living up to that electric sort of hype that he has had so far in training camp. I'll tell you what, the wide receiver battle for San Francisco is certainly going to be a fun one to watch. Obviously, it's Garcon, it's Goodwin, it's Taylor, it's Pettis. Those 4 are locked in. And then you have 2 slots among, 6 players. So it's going to be an intriguing battle. Kendrick Bourne, Aldrick Robinson, Aaron Burbridge is a guy that was creating some buzz. Richie James, the 7th-round selection out of Middle Tennessee State as well. Just so much depth there for San Francisco that Kyle Shanahan is going to make some really difficult decisions for that wide receiver depth chart. Meanwhile, for the Dallas Cowboys, the run game has looked good so far. The offensive line has looked solid as well. Cooper Rush has just been, Cooper Rush-ish. At this point, we know who he is. But as I said, Rod Smith looked pretty solid. Blake Jarwin had a reception. Rod Smith as well, but Michael Gallup with that touchdown reception obviously is the highlight, I think, of the game so far, especially because that touchdown reception was from Mr. Dak Prescott. Threw a nice ball there from on over to Michael Gallup along the sideline there. So for the Dallas Cowboys, positivity at the beginning of the game, but San Francisco coming back a little bit here. So
what do you think about this comment here on Screen Cam? Would you sign Dez?
I would.
Yeah.
Now, I think it depends on the situation, and if I'm the New England Patriots, I think it's a really good fit for them, James. I think it's a typical New England Patriot thing to do. The Patriots have brought in veteran players before in the back nine of their careers. Chad Ochocinco, Michael Floyd, Brandon Lloyd. The list goes on. It's a New England Patriot kind of thing, and Dez wants to go to a contender. Now, Dez is going to meet with the Browns next week. Are the Browns contenders? No, but maybe Dez is just doing his homework a little bit.
If you believe the media, the Browns aren't contenders. Where I come from, Browns are contenders.
Okay, that's fair. You're from Ohio, so you're buying into it. Fair enough. But with that said, I'd watch out for New England. I'd watch out for Pittsburgh as well. Antonio Brown took to Twitter to recruit Dez Bryant, and Dez retweeted Brown's tweet. So,
is Dez at this point more of like what Michael Vick was 5-6 years ago, or when these guys were Deion Sanders in the early 2000s, where like they were such a legend and kind of a bad boy icon? Is that all these younger guys grew up idolizing them 7-8 years ago when they were in high school and college, just coming out? That now he's more of like a, oh man, Dez is the man. I mean, you talk about anybody who's in the NFL 8 or 10 years ago, Randy Moss and Michael Vick were the players that everybody else idolized, kind of like Kobe was 5 years ago. Maybe LeBron is becoming right now. It's like, man, this guy's been around since I've been 9 years old. Kickoff now, Cowboys down in the end zone. We're going to bring this one out. But is that the allure of Dez at this point? Is he really an actual – can he bring anything? Could he even start – and it wouldn't start for the Browns. Would he bring anything to the Browns at this point? Would he have more than 30 catches in the Browns this year?
I think he would have more than 30 catches. I think he'd actually get a good amount of reps there for the Cleveland Browns. But I think the problem is there is a disconnect between the public perception of Dez Bryant and the internal perception of Dez Bryant. And by internal, I mean other NFL players. And it's quite obvious that NFL players want Dez on their team. DeAndre Hopkins has taken to Twitter to recruit Dez Bryant. Antonio Brown has taken to Twitter to recruit Dez Bryant. Other players as well. Jarvis Landry has done it. So, I mean, people want Dez Bryant on their team. And you have the people on the outside, the couch general managers, as you like to put it, that say, Dez has a cancer, he's a problem in the locker room, and all this stuff. Just because of a few outbursts on the sidelines, he's a problem in the locker room. You mean to tell me that Dez was the only issue going on in that Dallas Cowboys locker room last year? I'm not really believing in that. So I don't think Dez Bryant is a problem per se. I think he just needs to be in the right situation, and maybe Dallas wasn't towards the end of his career.
All right, so who we got in a quarterback here for the Cowboys, Cam? I wasn't paying attention there.
Cooper Rush is still in for Dallas.
Cooper Rush in there. Number 7. That number 7 is a you surprised that a Cowboys quarterback has never worn number 7, like a big-time one, at least one that I can remember. It's a John Elway made that number like the number for quarterbacks. It'd be one that if I was Dak, I would have tried to grab. But nevertheless, Cooper Rush with a nice swing pass there.
Yeah, Bo Scarborough there.
Yeah, Bo Scarborough. Yep, 7 yards in that one, coming up on a 3rd and 3. Rush back in shotgun. 3rd and 3 from the 33-yard line.
This one's going to be incomplete here. James rushed on the play, and the Dallas Cowboys likely going to punt there. So for Dallas, meanwhile, it could be a little shaky here that maybe the San Francisco 49ers could be pulling ahead. Tyus Powell, the cornerback for San Francisco, on the coverage on that play. Nice little deflection there, pass breakup there for the cornerback, who should make the team. We shall see. So as we stand, Cowboys in the lead 14-10, and you guys, of course, can bet on all of the games that are going on tomorrow night and Saturday night as well. Use BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet is the way to go. Use that promo code NFL120 or Cowboys120 if you're a Cowboys fan.
That's a good one. You're getting 120% bonus money, Cam. I mean, just being flat up, whether we worked them or not, why sign up and just spend your money? At least if you're going to get used to betting, if you're a first-timer, it's no longer illegal. All right, a little loophole there.
There you go.
So why not get some bonus cash? So if you lose a few, you get your feet wet. It's spending Bet DSI's money, not your own, right? So put in $100, get 220 total, 120. Bet a few games, put 10, $20 in game C, get your feet wet. Put some money on the Cowboys to win the division. You'll get like 2-3 times back your cash. It's a pretty good deal. I've been betting a lot of college football. For everybody watching, Michigan, I'm putting money on Shea Patterson to win the Heisman. But Cam, take us through the NFL tonight. We're at a commercial break. A lot of NFL games. 12 games tonight on this opening Thursday of preseason. Kind of, Christmas, New Year's, and Easter all in one night.
Yeah, quite a slate tonight, James. Let's take a look at the Battle of Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh taking on Philadelphia. The Steelers victorious in that one. Nate Sudfeld got a lot of reps in that game, 140 yards. Couple of touchdowns, but 2 interceptions as well. Corey Clement with 30 yards on the ground. Good win there for Pittsburgh. I got that prediction correct. I am happy about that. The Saints and the Jaguars did battle tonight. The Saints were successful over Jacksonville, 24-20. Good stuff from the New Orleans Saints playing on the road in Jacksonville. Never easy for the Saints, it seems, to be playing on the road, preseason or regular season. So good victory there. Cleveland takes down the New York Giants. The Browns were favored by 1, according to BetDSI, in this game. Cleveland wins.
Get the hype train going here, Cam. 20-10. They're twice as good as the Giants. I'm not going to go out here and say Super Bowl, but it just came out of my mouth. I guess so. I guess
it just did.
Yeah. So I mean, if the Browns, if they go 1-31, Cam, the last 2 seasons, 1 win, 2 years, yet Hugh Jackson comes back for a third year.
Still around.
Which I guess I don't blame him, because what are you going to do if you're going to bring in a new coach? Is he going to start fresh? Eventually, you just got to keep a guy for 6 years, even if he wins 1 game a year, and just try, right? Unless you're going to get Bill Belichick or somebody like that to come and take over the franchise.
To return.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a little known fact, Cam. The last playoff game the Browns won, I was actually at 1994. Browns at home beat the Patriots, ironically enough, the year before the Patriots won the Super Bowl with Drew Bledsoe in 1995 and lost to Brett Favre's Packers.
There you go.
A little walk down memory lane.
Chicago losing to the Cincinnati Bengals 30-27. Andy Dalton made a couple of good plays in that one. Carolina victorious over the Buffalo Bills at home for Buffalo. Tough loss there in Orchard Park. Kelvin Benjamin doesn't get his full-on revenge in that game. Battle of Florida, Tampa Bay taking on Miami. The Bucs were victorious 26-24. For Tampa Bay, they have to figure out treading water at the beginning of the regular season without Jameis Winston due to that suspension. So Ryan Fitzmagic will be the starting quarterback for the beginning of the regular season for Tampa Bay. Huge night for my Baltimore Ravens, James, crushing the LA Rams 33-7. Joe Flacco looked pretty good. Lamar Jackson looked solid as well. And RG3 even got into the touchdown parade.
There was a wise man just a few moments ago, maybe, I don't know how, 20 minutes ago, an hour ago, that says the Rams are way overhyped this year, Cam. I'm going to make a suggestion there, like that Eagles dream team, as Vince Young called it, or that 2000-2001 Redskins, getting all these big-name free agents in one offseason. It works if you're LeBron. It works if you're the Warriors. It does not work if you are an NFL team. I think the Rams 8-8 is going to be the record.
That's a big prediction, James.
No, hey,
there's a lot of talent on that defense.
Good thing we are live and this lives on the internet. We will
will live forever.
We will rekindle this. I swear they're going to go 8-8.
Where's Harris Rubenstein? We need to get him on set here. So
Rubenstein impression. That wasn't me. I can't take credit for that. Great
sworn.
Comment. Yeah.
Oh God! Just please don't start talking about your mom or anything like that, and then things just get off the rails.
Only Harris's mom.
Only Harris's mom here on the show here, folks. Hey, if you guys have any questions, be sure to hit us up in comments. We'll be tracking what you guys ask us. We will answer them here on air as well. A lot of questions about Dez Bryant throughout the night, and how Jimmy Garoppolo has looked, how the 49ers have looked, how the Dallas Cowboys have looked. And overall, it's been a competitive game as we stand. 1st and 10 for San Francisco. Joe Williams with a good run to get that first down. Now, for the 49ers here, I have been tracking Joe Williams throughout the offseason and into training camp and minicamp and all that stuff. And I think this is a really important game for Joe, because he is fighting hard to make the team. Because I think San Francisco, much like last year, will carry 3 running backs on the roster. So with Joe Williams on the outside looking in, Oh, by the way, that was called back. But that was not a first down for Joe Williams. So I'm speaking like potentially he might make the team, and, well, maybe he won't.
Will have to punt.
Yep. So 4th and 1 there for San Francisco. They will punt on over for the Dallas Cowboys to retain possession. Joe Williams, I think, is on the outside looking in. Folks, I think it's Jerick McKinnon, number 1. I think it's Matt Breida at number 2, who got hurt, by the way. We'll see what happens with that. And then Raheem Mostert at number 3 for the San Francisco 49ers. So Joe Williams really has to shine throughout the preseason to actually make the team. James, when you're a running back with special teams prowess and you're a running back without it, the special teams running back gets the edge.
Yeah, absolutely. And Williams last year, Cam, put on injury reserve for the year, early on in the year, 4th-round draft pick. Ironically, grew up in the Midwest, went to Utah. You don't see too many guys out of Pennsylvania go to Utah. Honorable mention level Pac-12 running back. Wasn't a superstar in college by any means, but surprised to people, at least surprised me, them taking him in the 4th round. I didn't peg him even really as a pro when I saw him in college. So it'll be interesting to see if he makes the team. I think it's less than 50-50 if you're asking me, but it'd be nice to see him make the team. So we will see. We're at commercial now, ladies and gentlemen. Cowboys up 14-10 on the favored 49ers. This game in the house that Harbaugh built. Why don't you run us through these scores throughout the NFL tonight, Cam?
Yeah, New England Patriots victorious over the Washington Redskins, 26-17. No Tom Brady in this game, but still Brian Hoyer did enough for New England to get that edge there against the Washington Redskins playing at Gillette Stadium. Tennessee Titans fall to the Green Bay Packers. The Packers were favored in this game. Here is actually originally a pick'em according to BetDSI. Then the line changed. Green Bay wins 31-17 over Tennessee, a team I like a lot in the regular season this year. The Texans and the Chiefs did battle as well. Texans win 17-10 over Kansas City. Brandon Weeden, a couple of touchdowns for him. Joe Webb played some reps as well. And for Kansas City, all eyes, of course, are on Patrick Mahomes. How will he perform throughout the preseason and into the regular season? He is the starting quarterback there. Of course, you watch Mahomes in college as well, James, I'm sure. Gunslinger type of arm. So we'll see if he can translate that to the NFL.
All right, let's talk about Mahomes for a second. Andy Reid gave up a guy who's going to basically get you the playoffs every year, and Alex Smith, a guy who's been to an NFC championship game, was the starting quarterback on a team that ultimately went to the Super Bowl with the 49ers, with the playoffs with the Chiefs. And so they had to see something in Mahomes. His arm strength is unquestioned, was a surprise first-round draft pick, of course. And so, Reid is on the back end of his career, and they're really betting the house on Mahomes being ready in his second year to be an all-pro level quarterback, as you see coming up here. Seahawks, Colts in the third quarter, Cam. And Drew Luck, how long has it been? I'll have to see, producer Mayor, how long has it been since he has thrown a pass in an NFL game, preseason or regular season? 64 yards passing early on in that game. I'm guessing he's out at this point now, but I'll have to double check that one. But that's a pretty big deal. Andrew Luck, maybe the most talented quarterback to come into the NFL. There's 3 guys in maybe my lifetime, before your lifetime. It's Elway, Peyton Manning, and Andrew Luck. Those are like the 3 LeBrons of the NFL, if you want to, the guys who we just can't miss. And he's been out of the NFL for a while, and it's nice to see him back. I think the legacies of quarterbacks, just the quarterback talent in the NFL, would have taken a big drop down after Brady and Breeze retire in a year, 2, 3 years, maybe Big Ben, had Andrew Luck, just faded off in his career. If he comes back with a vengeance, he's a top-level quarterback. I think the quarterback hierarchy of the NFL is in pretty good hands with him amongst a few leaders after those guys move on. So, big play here, Cam. What do we have?
Cooper Rush actually threw across his body to a wide-open receiver, and the Dallas Cowboys are now into San Francisco 49ers territory, and we have a 1st and 10 situation inside the 50-yard line for the Dallas Cowboys. Cooper Rush still in the game here in the third quarter, which is pretty interesting, might I add. Short little pass here, intermediate route for the Cowboys. Should be a 2nd and 3 situation here as they continue to chug along. But Cooper Rush with a 31-yard pass for the Dallas Cowboys earlier in that series to get them to this point here. Dallas trying to pad on to that lead, 14-10 over San Francisco. James, one thing that kind of went through the news cycle this week here, of course, Zeke Elliott, a member of the Dallas Cowboys, Ohio State alum as well. Dad Stacey Elliott recently at the Ohio State supporting rally there for Urban Meyer, as Urban Meyer currently is investigated for his handlings of the domestic violence allegations against Zach Smith. By the way, a story we'll have more on in the Cam Rogers show tomorrow morning because we have updates on that. But Stacey Elliott present there, showing support for Urban Meyer. At the same time, we remember that Zeke went under domestic violence allegations at one point too. So kind of make for an interesting little subplot to this whole Urban Meyer investigation.
Yeah, it's interesting. Cowboys inside the 30, little nice pass comeback route to Mikhail McKay, which is a name I don't think Cowboys fans are too familiar with. At least I'm not. Maybe Cowboys fans are. Drop in the backfield there, running back on that play. So we're going to have a second down and 10 plus coming in. 6.5 minutes. Yeah, 6.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Cowboys up by 4. So it's tone deaf by Zeke Elliott's dad, Stacey. First of all, what is he doing in Columbus? They're not from Ohio. Zeke Elliott went to high school in St. Louis, Missouri, right? Mm-hmm. And so what is he doing in Columbus there anyways? If you watched the people and the tone and just maybe the tone deafness of that rally, there were no students there, Cam. There were no prominent alumni. There were no Ohio State professors. There were no one like that. It was literally people who had nothing better to do. It was a Tuesday afternoon in Columbus, Ohio in the middle of the summer. The crowd there was not one I would invite to my house for a Sunday dinner, and I'll just leave it at that. And for him to go there and to talk all this stuff, whether Urban Meyer is guilty or not, just the tone deafness of his son and his son getting suspended and basically being the storyline of the 2017 NFL season, I think was a really bad look by him. And I think some of that, I just call him a knucklehead is all I could say is for Stacey Elliott, just not understanding that his son's an incredibly famous guy, one of the probably 5 most name-worthy guys in the NFL, players in the NFL at this point in his career. For him to be there was just completely ridiculous. He should not have been there.
It almost looked like blind allegiance to Urban Meyer when you listen to some of the sound bites of Stacey Elliott just saying, we believe in Coach, we trust in Coach, we known him for a long time. Well, you never really truly know somebody unless it's like your family. It's just kind of the reality of the situation. Sometimes people change or they're hiding something behind their back. Whatever the case may be, we'll see how this investigation shakes out. We should have a decision at some point from Ohio State in regards to the future of Urban Meyer there. But Zeke Elliott's dad recently present there for a rally.
Richard Sherman sighting on the sidelines. Dreads one of the dreads goes down to about elbow level with his arms coming down.
Flowing pretty well.
So he is not there. Nice run.
Tell you what.
Who do we have? 36. I don't
That's
know.
Bo Scarborough. He continues to run well, James.
How could it not be Bo Scarborough? I love the pick when the Cowboys made it on draft night. As you mentioned earlier, Cam, Alabama running backs don't necessarily have the best track record by any means. A lot of busts in there, most notably Trent Richardson. But Bo Scarborough is a badass. That's the least I could say about him. I think he's going to make a nice addition to the Cowboys. I would hope he makes the roster. I would assume he will, but we shall see. Richard Sherman yucking it up on the sidelines, backwards 49ers hat, dreads, red 49ers Nike jersey.
Chatting up Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback.
That's right. 1st and 10, rush inside the 20, nice little slant pattern.
Bo Scarborough again.
Down.
Wow.
Scarborough over
with a flag.
Over the middle, kind of coming on one of those angle out, angle in. I'm not sure what you call those. One of these routes. Inside the 5 there.
Looks like it is inside the 5.
Flag come in. There's a lot of these new rules, Cam, that I don't think all NFL fans are super knowledgeable about, but there are a lot of rules there about just the helmet.
You got to watch the lowering of the helmet.
Even the kickoff rules are different this year. So, they're gonna say lead with the helmet. So what's the call here, Brett?
Yeah, it certainly looks like that. Yep, lowering
he
with the
didn't hit
helmet.
him in the helmet though. He led with the helmet, hit him in the back of the shoulder blade, really.
Yeah, it's the new rule now in the NFL that defenders really don't like, and rightfully so. And I understand that the game is changing and we need to be more careful about injuries and all of this stuff, but it's getting to a point where it's becoming flag football in a sense, and I just don't know, James.
Penalty on Elijah Lee, second-year man out of Kansas State. Scarborough trips in the backfield early over his own feet. Gain of 0. It's going to be second down, or it's going to be second and goal here from the 3-yard line. Of course, after that penalty, first and goal. So Scarborough slips over his own feet. We'll see here. Did he slip under somebody else? Nope,
it's just him.
He just slipped. Cam, I will say this. This game has been played at Levi Stadium, the house that Harbaugh built. It's about an hour south of San Francisco. We've got second and goal here from about the 2. We have, it looks to be a touchdown. They're sending it, but our feed is going to come here. They call it is. Play action pass, play action to Scarborough. Rush rolls out, back of the end zone corner. It
Beautiful
is a touchdown.
toe
Nice
job
pass.
there.
Lenoir, am I pronouncing that right? Well,
it's Lenoir. You got it.
Some of these backups, Cam, no one's watching this right now. Like I'm after.
It's a nice throw by Rush too.
Let the producer tell me their names.
That was a great location,
really
great ball
throw.
placement.
I mean, he had to stretch out, get both feet. Did he get that second foot down?
Well, let's take a look at the
I don't
replay.
think he did, actually. And he had about 4 yards to get in the end zone.
Great move on Powell.
Great move in the back of the end zone. He just can't tell from that angle. Brett is saying foot down. He is saying it is a touchdown, although from the angle I saw initially, I didn't think he did. I thought he stretched it in the air for 4 or 5 yards, but did not get it. But it is a touchdown. Cowboys up 20-10, Cam, after this extra point. Going to be 21-10. I think that may be all she wrote on the gambling lines from BetDSI. Cowboys at game time, Cowboys at game time, 4-point underdog. 49ers favored in this game at home. If you bet the 49ers, it is looking pretty dim throughout the season, though. Cowboys fans, 49ers fans, chatsports.com/bet, chatsports.com/Cowboys/49ers. All 3 links will work. Use promo code NFL120 or Cowboys120, 120% bonus cash, free money to get your feet wet on gambling.
Any sport, too. They got
sport.
them all.
Yeah, absolutely. You put the Cowboys 120, you can put some money on the Rangers game tomorrow night, and you will make some cash. They're going to review this bad boy. Are we certain, Brett, that he was in? Are we certain? We're going to go to the Chat Sports Replay Center in New York.
We're boothing
They're going to give us the final word. My eyes, no one has better eyes than me, Cam. You know that. I did not think he got the foot down, but we will see.
Sure about that? You're always squinting when you're looking at the screen.
Probably, yes. They're going to give him the touchdown because they did kick the extra point. So I do want a double, triple replay on that. We do have triple confirmation coming from New York in my ear. Looks like he did get that foot down. It must have been by a blade of grass. Cooper Rush, nice throw, though, huh?
I think he's good for the rest of the night, to be honest with you. I think Dallas might try out some lesser quarterbacks on this roster here to kind of see what they got out there. I think Cooper Rush has kind of proved that, all right, he's done enough tonight that, they're satisfied. So maybe a little Mike White action. We'll see.
So, Cam, you mentioned we were going through scores here earlier while we were at a commercial break. Cowboys 21, 49ers 10. You mentioned Brandon Weeden.
Yeah.
I am going to post this question to you, Cam. Brandon Weeden has been in the NFL. I'm guessing this is his 7th season, right? I'm guessing it's his 7th season. Could
Seems
be
like
his
it's
6th.
15th.
Could be his 8th. How old is Brandon Weeden? Now, don't Google it. No Googling. I just Googled it, and I was pretty close. I was off by a year.
31.
31. Any guesses? Harris Rubenstein back in the office. What do you say? 33. Brett Scott? Yeah. All right. Brandon Weeden. 34 years old.
Dang.
Of course, he was
God,
a top.
Are you kidding me?
What's that? Exactly. Yeah.
God.
Was in college in his mid to late 20s. After a illustrious minor league baseball
He's like Van
career.
Wilder in college forever.
Yeah. Yes. You gents are a little bit younger. There was a guy in his late 20s who actually won the Heisman, and then 2000, Chris Weinke went on to an illustrious career with the Carolina Panthers as their quarterback. Brandon Weeden, first-round draft pick of the Cleveland Browns, one of many phenomenal ones. Johnny Manziel, Brady Quinn, and Brandon Weeden that have just flamed out in epic proportions from the Cleveland Browns. We're at commercial. Cowboys 21, Cam. 49ers 10. This one looks like it's over, but, anything can happen. I don't necessarily see the 49ers third-string offense putting on a couple touchdowns to get back in this game personally, but anything can happen.
And by the way, this is week 1 of the preseason. Usually we're going to get overreactions from the public, but there really is no need to panic if you are the San Francisco 49ers. There is no reason to be overly optimistic if you are the Dallas Cowboys, too. So there are some good things that I've been seeing from the Dallas Cowboys, from the starters especially. Same can be said about the 49ers as well. I was actually really impressed with what I saw, James, from that front line for Dallas, the starters that were in tonight. Yeah, I might just drink from that pitcher, to be honest with you.
Nice. Some scores coming through here, Cam. Looks like we've got a barn burner. Seattle and Indianapolis.
You got a baseball score.
12-10. More of like it's a softball score, right?
All right.
12-10.
Lacrosse score.
Good one. I like that pickup where I was letting us down. Andrew Luck making his return, 64 yards, no touchdowns as the Cowboys kick off for the 49ers. Niners are going to kneel it in Levi's Stadium For my viewing pleasure, Cam, I've watched, I hate to say this to the 49ers fans watching, and I know a lot of the guys that were involved in the building of this stadium living in San Francisco for so long.
Sources say.
Sources have said, but this is the worst stadium in pro sports. It really is.
What?
This is the worst stadium to watch a game in pro sports. It
really?
is a disaster.
As we actually have an aerial view
Yeah,
here.
we got an aerial view here. It is like this, Cam. Imagine you hired a bunch of Apple engineers who also knew how to build stadiums. They could be architects. And you say, build us the best stadium of all time. And those guys were nerds, not alphas like us, and had never watched a football game in their life and didn't know what makes sense. You want sound. You don't want to park an hour away. You don't want the sun to beat down on you in half the stadium. It is such a terrible game experience. And I'm not just talking about a 49ers game when they were bad the last few years. I've been to college games. I've been to bowl games. I was at the Pac-12 championship game. I've been to 5 or 6 games here. I went to the Super Bowl there. I went to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was a disaster there. Wow. It is the worst stadium in pro sports. It is built by someone who has never been to a football game. That's what I can say. So, no offense, 49ers fans.
Hey.
On the flip side, I've been to 3 games at the Cowboys Stadium, AT&T, maybe the best stadium in all of pro sports if you sit in first or second level. If you sit up in the rafters and you have to look at that big screen, you may have a different opinion. If you sit in the 200 or 300 or 100 level, kind of below the screen, you are like in a big-time run here, Cam, for the 49ers. Oh, nice run.
Richie
around
James,
the outside,
nice play.
Right side, good to see there.
That's Raheem Mostert.
Raheem Mostert, yeah.
Nice.
Tricked me there for a moment too. So you knew Mostert's first name. Good talk, Cam. You should school me. I give you the business sometimes on your NBA knowledge. You got to give me the business back on my second string NFL knowledge because I certainly do not hold a candle to you. I do know he's out of Purdue because they show that to me on the screen as we speak, though.
Nick Mullins, by the way, in at quarterback for the 49ers out of Southern Mississippi, the third line quarterback here tonight. 1st and 10 situation for the 49ers.
Whistles. Harris, give me my whistle. I got to blow it here.
See, James, when you're in the third quarter of a preseason game, you get stuff like this.
There should be a whistle on Brett's desk, third drawer.
Harris.
Kidding. What do you make of Kyle Shanahan as the head coach? Came in under some dire circumstances for the 49ers. 3 coaches in pretty much as many years. Jim Harbaugh, then Jim Tomsula, then Chip Kelly. Harbaugh left an 8-8 record. Tomsula was a disaster. Chip Kelly, for all intents, was a disaster as a coach. I mean, they were terrible. Even with Colin Kaepernick on the roster, Chip Kelly couldn't get anything done. And he's down 6 hours south by car at UCLA. But the way they came out last year, Harris said, "Hey, we don't know who the worst team in the NFL is this year." Last year was the Browns. I can make an argument up until about mid-season to the trade deadline. It was also the 49ers. They were the worst 2 teams in the NFL all year last year. And Jimmy G and Kyle Shanahan, end of the year in a 5-game winning streak with Garoppolo being, you might not know this, Cam, the only quarterback in NFL history to win, to be undefeated after 7 games, or to never lose a game as a starter, minimum starts 7 games, right? And so with that being said, is that Jimmy G? Is that Kyle Shanahan? He's had a nice run, Shanahan. Obviously, with the Falcons, didn't really do much from the last 18 minutes of the game against the Patriots.
Right.
His last game coaching
Didn't run the football enough.
Didn't run football. But people really believe in this team. The Cowboys and 49ers on BetDSI, Cam, the same over-under wins, which I believe was 8.5. I put it on our YouTube stream here earlier. It's either 8.5 or 9.5. I believe it's 8.5. The same pretty much exact odds. Brett's saying it's 8.5 wins both of them have. Now, the Cowboys have a little better of the odds. It's like minus 120 for the 49ers or something like that. But that tells you where they've come, because if you think about it, 2 years ago, the 49ers are 2-14 or something crazy like that in 2016, while the Cowboys were maybe one of the best teams in football, certainly leading up to playoff times. 2 years later, flash forward to 2018, they have the equal odds to
it's interesting.
To win games, both on pace for 8.5 or targeted. That's the over under where the odds put them. So you have to say it's a nice stamp of approval for the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo. Kyle Shanahan. Is it a knock on Dak Prescott? Is it a knock that the wheels will fall off the 49ers and they're going to go 8-8, which was kind of been the knock on them? The Cowboys every other year they go basically 8-8 is what a lot of detractors will say, and they'll have that 13-3 year out of nowhere like they did in 16. But it's definitely, they've come far in 2 years. They were basically the Browns in 2016, and now they are a team. Many people fumble. We got a fumble. No fumble. A lot of guys calling for fumble. Whistles are blowing, of course. Cowboys thought they had it.
Yeah.
They started running down the field even though it was clear that the whistle was blown. But 49ers have come a long way. What do you think of the Cowboys this year, though, Cam? Is this a playoff team? If they don't make the playoffs, are they looking for a new coach?
Yes, if they don't make the playoffs, Jason Garrett will be fired. There's no doubt about that. Is this a playoff team? I think it is. And by the way, the Dallas Cowboys did get possession of that football there on a fumble from Raheem Mostert, which is not very good for Mostert, but also good for Joe Williams, who's trying to make the team. For the Dallas Cowboys, it's simple. They have an identity, and they need to execute on that identity, especially on the offensive side. Run the rock 20, 25, 30 times with Ezekiel Elliott. Use that offensive line. Impose your will on the line of scrimmage. And if the Dallas Cowboys can win that line of scrimmage, they will win football games because they have that athletic offensive line. They got a good defensive line as well, headlined by DeMarcus Lawrence. So if they can win on both sides, I think they will be good. Now, the problem is the NFC is pretty darn deep. I think the Falcons are a playoff team. The Saints, the Rams, the 49ers, the Carolina Panthers, the list goes on. And so for Dallas, they're competing against really good depth. This is not the AFC, which is more watered down than the NFC. So in a vacuum, yes, the Dallas Cowboys have a playoff caliber roster. But in comparison to the other teams out there, they could come up short even at 10-6.
Yeah, ask us questions. You're watching on YouTube, watching on Facebook Live. Get the questions in. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Rico Gathers is in the game for the Dallas Cowboys.
Shout out to Rico.
Fan favorite. Tom Downey, the Dallas Cowboys insider here for Chat Sports. I think half his job is actually discussing Rico Gathers in some way. Mike White is in for the for the Cowboys. 63 touchdowns in his career at Western Kentucky in college. Way out of the shotgun set. Will he go Rico Gathers? No, he's going to swing out of the backfield to a nice little gain, 15 yards. Who's that? Gets the ball, 44.
Jackson there.
Yeah, Jackson, nice. Brett, I appreciate that. I got to look at our play-by-play. We've got the best spotters. We've got people probably at the stadium telling us who are making these plays, putting it right on screen behind us.
Darius Jackson with that nice play there out of the backfield for Dallas.
Yeah, nice.
Cowboys are moving the football.
They are moving the football, and they're making it less likely that those gamblers for the 49ers, folks like us, Cam, are going to win our money picking the 49ers -3, -3.5, -4. The Cowboys are going to win this one. I believe there's a quarter left. We're ticking down the moments as they show Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, on screen now. 21-10 Cowboys, under a minute left in the third quarter. The Cowboys are going to have a 1st and 10 after that nice 15 or so yard swing pass. What do you have exactly? It was a 14-yard swing pass from Mike White. So nice play there. Cowboys offense, the less they rely on Dak and Zeke,
Dak.
which is a very just call him Zach for now.
Yeah.
And the more they can move the ball with some of these other players, with the wide receiver core, with the tight end, losing Dez Bryant, losing Jason Witten, and a year after they lost Tony Romo, basically the heart and soul of the Dallas Cowboys, the identity that a generation grew up, are no longer on this team. So there's obviously going to be questions on the offense. Can Dak? Can he find a number one receiver? Can he find a number one and a number two wide receiver? Those questions are going to be answered this season. Another nice run, about a 12, 13-yard gain. Who do you have there? Number 44 again, Jackson
again. Nice run.
He is making it happen.
So, James, if I'm the 49ers, I'm a little concerned about a couple of things. The run defense tonight, as well as the injuries that the 49ers have suffered. So, Solomon Thomas got dinged up. Yep. George Kittle got dinged up. Matt Breida got dinged up. A couple of other players as well. So, if you are San Francisco, you're just hoping to get out of this game healthy. And, of course, we'll be tracking all the injuries throughout the time in the coming days. But for the 49ers, you're playing it uber carefully the rest of the way here in this Week 1 preseason game. You don't want any more top-line injuries to some of your key players. And at this point, it's not like you have any super key players in the football game. But still, you want a healthy roster. And so that's something I think Kyle Shanahan is kind of bearing in mind at this point?
I have very rarely, maybe ever in my life, have I seen roster turnover in the NFL like the 49ers went through from 2014 to about 16. If you look at the roster in 13, 14, 12, 11, that run of 3 straight NFC championship games, like their entire team basically retired or went to another franchise in free agency after the 2014 or the 2015 season, Cam. It was really unprecedented. And so they really don't have a ton of depth. They don't have many veterans that have been there that know, the 49er way. Yep. And certainly with their GM moving on a year ago, a new head coach coming in. Basically, this is a franchise that's been started from scratch a little over a year ago when Kyle Shanahan and that crew came in. And, of course, John Lynch being the new GM.
Trent Baalke no longer there.
Yeah, Baalke kind of ousted. He took the brunt of the Jim Tomsula, Chip Kelly hire.
What a disaster that was.
I mean, Jim Tomsula, did you not have to do anything more than just look at him and say,
come on.
I don't know if I'm going to get 27-year-old football players to respect this guy. He's got a mustache, looks like my gym teacher, Mr. Hotelling. But so if they can make the playoffs this year, Cam, basically 2 years after turning over a 53-man roster, that is a nice start for Kyle Shanahan. He is one of the younger coaches. I think him and McVay at the Rams, those are like the two up-and-coming, bright offensive minds.
Both on the West Coast, too.
Yeah, if you think like looking forward 5 years, who are going to be the premier coaches in the NFL, those guys have a good shot to any. And they're guys that you could say, hey, these are the names we'll be talking about still 15 years from now, whether it's with these franchises or like an Andy Reid moves on to a second franchise. So those are the guys, and just them turning over this entire roster is something that makes it tough to make the playoffs a year after they started off the year 0-9, 0-10 last year. I don't remember the exact number.
Brutally bad.
It was terrible. They were a disaster to watch play. Coming back here, Cam, start of the fourth quarter. If we want to run through these scores, some other games around the corner. Looks like we got around the country. Colts and Seahawks.
Colts and Seahawks still doing battle out there on the West Coast. Only a couple games on right now, James, because it is just the bottom of the hour, midnight on the East Coast. So just the West Coast games going on right now. Colts are in the lead, 19-10. How about this? Alex Magoo to McKissick. Wow, Magoo is making plays.
Yeah.
At least, not positively, but still -3 yards. He's in the game, though. He's getting reps. That's important for Alex Magoo, who has a name that is easy to make fun of. So they're showing
the broadcast booth here for the game, Cam. I am not as good a face as I should be. Who is this guy in the middle here? It looks like if anyone's listening to the audio here, but they're reenacting the catch from Dwight Clark, the recently deceased Dwight Clark from Joe Montana.
New statue.
They're showing on air. But I really wonder who that is talking to it. Is you got the Cowboys, the ball going deep. Ooh, diving
nicely
catch.
Placed ball there by White.
No catch there. So Dwight Clark, the recently deceased. That game, Cam, in Candlestick Park against the Cowboys about 38 years ago. That was the play that got the 49ers over the hump from the dynasty of the Cowboys in the 70s and put them on the really on the path to win 5 Super Bowls in a 14-year period. It was from 81 to 94. And so that catch there, Dwight Clark, may he rest in peace, number 87.
What a
as
catch.
Shown on screen. Phenomenal catch. And you think about Joe Montana rolling out. Not only was he rolling out to the side, he was rolling out backwards. He was throwing the ball as he was running backwards, which you don't see happen too often. Is that Al? Where's Al Guido?
There
friend
he is.
Of the program,
the Prez.
Friend of Chat Sports, Cam. I was just about to say, is that Al Guido? It is Al Guido. You might not know this, Cam. Good friend of mine. We may be best friends, but we may have just done a panel one time together, and he never returns my emails. One of the two. One of those two is true. But we have hung out. I did think he actually grabbed my ass when we hugged. So more of a smack in the ass. It was a pretty good one. A man's man. He's got the last name Guido, which is sometimes a negative name towards Italian. But he reminds me kind of, if you saw him in the streets, you probably think he's like a gangster from the 1980s Manhattan. He's like he's a real tough guy, Al Guido is. That's for sure. So certainly nice to see him. Nice career. He came up in the world from Philadelphia, has kind of gone from VP of sales to team president over the course of 3 or 4 years. So certainly nice career trajectory. Giving the play-by-play of Dwight Clark's The Catch from that famous Cowboys-49ers game. Cowboys at the 39-yard line of the 49ers. Dropping back and passing.
Oh,
that was almost
like
picked
double
off,
coverage
Cam. That was a really poor pass in a double coverage.
Let's see what the Cowboys do on the 39 here.
Yeah, that was from the 39. It was a 3rd and 9 pass, and I was in 4th and 9. Williams Jr. for the 49ers breaking that bad boy up. I thought it was going to be picked. I mean, that was a bad throw.
That was not very good.
No reason to go. They're
going to punt here. Yep.
Yeah.
You know, James, it's interesting because you, of course, are the host of the Michigan Football Report. A lot of buzz about Michigan football with Shea Patterson at quarterback. Kind of a comparison to the 49ers with the buzz around Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. So you know all about the hype leading into a promising season, perhaps.
You know, I think I may have started the hype for Shea Patterson. Everyone knows we were the first ones to break that story, him transferring from Ole Miss. It is very similar. That's a great analogy. He is a guy who had some success elsewhere, way better than the success you've had with your quarterback. And, you know, he's got these stats, and you want to ooh and ah. He throws the ball nice. He looks good. He talks a little, clearer, better in front of the media than their last quarterback, and then the hype is just out of control. It's basically the parallel. So 49ers fans, don't fall into the trap that I'm falling in, which is basically anointing Garoppolo the next MVP quarterback, like I have Shea Patterson, the next Heisman winner, or the first Heisman winner, quarterback at least for Michigan. And you've got to temper your expectations with the 49ers. If they win 8 games, Cam, which is their Vegas under/over 8.5 through BetDSI, I'll be surprised. I do think they're an improved team. I know they won 5 games to end the year last year. I know Garoppolo's a 7-0 record this year, but I think they're in for a rude awakening. You get some offseason film on Garoppolo. People understand what they're getting for him. He's out there with porn stars, as you said, Cam. Hey, when I was a young man, okay, if we had our porn stars, we kept that on our computer, okay? Pornhub.com, as Harris Rubenstein was saying. We didn't.
Apparently, Harris is a premium member.
We didn't flaunt. He pays the $4.99 a month so you can skip the ads.
Come on, Harris. Loser alert.
Yeah, seriously. He was working here late one time, Cam. He thought he was the only guy in on this bad boy. I came in. I think I caught him watching porn one time. We're just going to leave that one between me and you.
Harris.
At work. What kind of guy is that? Subscribe to the channel. This is a Cowboys exclusive channel. Cowboys exclusive channel, Cam. I want to tell people, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Just go right below us. Hit that subscribe button if you're watching. So you're Cowboys fans watching on YouTube, because we're not broadcasting this in the main chat sports channel with tens of millions of views. In the last few months, we're broadcasting
just for you guys
on just the Cowboys channel, just between us. Right? We're not telling anybody else about this bad boy. Make sure to subscribe. Hit that BetDSI link as well. Brett's calling a timeout. I don't even know what we're doing. Are we looking at Slack?
We're doing a shift change. I think Harris is coming back on air. We're going to take a quick break here, folks. Harris coming on soon.
Harris, you come here and you don't bring your beer. What are you doing? We're swapping out. What are you, some kind of guy who's
we are a second into this, and we've already gotten completely off the rails. James Yoder, Harris Rubenstein, NFL Game Night here.
We're doing a watch
Cowboys
party.
Niners.
If a man came over my house and he drank beer and he didn't bring his beer to the thing, I would just be like, get out of here, man. This is a man's broadcast.
I was just so excited to come on air with you that I could not even think about my beer. I could only think about conversing with James Yoder.
Cam Rogers off air. We got Brett behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
I think you need to message somebody.
This is the dream team here, though.
Bring me a beer is what you got to tell them. Because we have your cup, Cam. Harris, we've got the,
I will drink that entire
thing. It's the BetDSI beer pitcher. Every time I win a game, I'm taking a drink. Brett's drinking back there. I'm drinking. Oh, gosh, we're throwing cups on stage. Harris, I'm going to give you a pour. You focus on hosting the show. I'm going to focus on the beer.
I got it. So we're Cowboys up 21-10 here, 13:52 left in the game. 1st and 10 on the San Francisco 20. Coming off of another Cowboys score. James, you and Cam seem to have an enjoyable night. Thank you. Cheers.
I'm going to give myself a little more before we cheers.
Cowboys are punting season. You see the 20-yard line, they're coming back. James Yoder, cheers to you, being the first boss to ever claim that I was watching porn at work. Oh, God. 21-10 Cowboys over the 49ers. If you're like me and you use BetDSI to bet on the Cowboys, you're in line to make some high-quality cash tonight. I use that cash bonus. I'm in line to make some money. What about you, James? I know you're all aboard the Heisman train here. You betting on some NFL this year?
You know, I started looking at the lines tonight, and I have got some numbers here. By the way, Garoppolo, better odds at BetDSI to be MVP than Dak or Zeke, which is phenomenal to me. Tom Brady, way ahead of the pack, plus 350 to be. I'm sorry, that's for. I apologize. That is, you know what? I am way off here.
Fake news.
Yeah,
James
that is.
Yoder.
You know, I'm like, why this doesn't look right? And I was looking at yards for that one. You do a control find on your computer, and you got to look at what the header is. I was not looking at the header, so let me get Garoppolo's MVP. You know, I was. This isn't far off though.
I swear.
I swear. It was worse. I was saying plus 2,000. It's plus 1,500. That means he's way better.
Plus 1,500 for Garoppolo to win MVP?
Yeah, Garoppolo. I mean, this is great. Zeke, plus 2,300, right?
How many quarterbacks in the history of the NFL would use their first full starting season to win an MVP?
So, Harris, Jimmy G is the 5th best odds, tied with Russell Wilson to an MVP. Zeke, plus 2,300. Matt Ryan, plus 1,700. Cam,
wait,
plus
Russell
1,700.
Wilson is plus 1,500? I would take that. That's insane. What happens if Russell Wilson leads the Seahawks like a 10 or 11 win season and they make the playoffs? He might just win MVP just because of that miracle.
Jimmy Garoppolo, 1,500. Todd Gurley, plus 2,500. So, Todd Gurley, which had one of the best 3 or 4 game stretches of all time then last year, Harris, he can win MVP, 25-1 odds. You put $10 on BetDSI, you win $250. Put $100, that's $2,500. You know,
easy money.
That's 5 months of a really expensive car payment. That is amazing. I'm telling you to do it. I'm gonna put my money in my mouth. I am putting $25 as we speak on air on Todd Gurley to win MVP.
Wait, but hold on. How is Todd Gurley going to win the MVP if the Rams are going 8-8?
Well, this week, Harris. This week,
what you got?
You've got to understand life. This is what you're learning from me, from my long experience. You hedge your bets. You put a crazy wild prediction over here. You put your money on the other side. So no matter what you win, you're right publicly, or if you're wrong publicly, hey, I want some cash. I want some straight cash, homie. All right, so that's what you got to be thinking here. So if you make it the claim 8-8, if you say, oh, man, Ohio State's going to be a disaster this year with Urban Meyer controversy, if you're like, Ohio State to win the national championship, you put that on the money over there, right? You hedge your bets. You always hedge your bets, right?
Follow this man on Twitter at James T. Yoder. You will not regret it. The Michigan Football Insider, bringing you the #1 coverage of the #1 team in college football. You can follow me on Twitter at Sports Team.
In our hearts. #1 in our hearts.
You can follow me on Twitter at Sports Team for NFL, NBA, and a lot of other shenanigans as we continue throughout the season. According to James Yoder, I quote tweet more people than actual words come out of my mouth. But at this point, still 2 great Twitter follows here. James, so we've been going over this game a little bit here. Cowboys still up 21-10. 49ers are trying to get back in this game. You know, we're kind of at the point where a lot of the backups are in. You know, this is where the 90-man roster, you really start to see it get stretched. Obviously, 40 of these guys are going to end up getting cut. Has there been anyone that you've seen on this screen who has popped out to you in any way? Has there been anyone who's really kind of stood out in any sort of way, or is this just a bunch of dudes who we're not going to see on Sundays?
I mean, ever since the second half came in, Harris, it's been a lot of who the hell knows, right?
Yep,
I think
that's fair.
The teams have to find out themselves. There's been certainly not any standouts. A couple of skill guys, Bo Scarborough, certainly for the Cowboys, stood out for me as a nice one. A couple of the wide receivers, although I haven't paid that much attention to the individual one. I was more focused on Cooper Rush, the quarterback, the backup, the third string. How many of the Cowboys will they keep? If Dak, a mobile kind of guy, obviously, how did he get his job? Tony Romo went out. He came in, let's talk about 2 years ago. This same night, this same game, the entire world exploded because Dak just went out there and looked like a seasoned pro, looked like Cam Newton at Auburn in the NFL in his first, second, third preseason game. And people are like, whoa, what's going on here? And, of course, he came in as a rookie and had one of the better starts in an NFL career I can ever remember. And certainly, I don't think there's ever been a better start for a quarterback-running back combination as Zeke and Dak had in 2016. And so these games can have meaning, that's for sure.
It's super rare to get a quarterback-running back combo on a rookie deal that we're able to do what they do. And now we see the Cowboys, I mean, it's their whole team. I mean, what Dak ends up doing this year as the quarterback of this team will most likely dictate how much success they end up having. I have a question for you. We have coming in from YouTube from Alec Monty. So this is a fun little college football question, though we do just have an interception here. I believe there might be a penalty on the play on the San Francisco 49ers, but a nice interception there by the Dallas Cowboys. Number 20 on the team. We'll get the full name for you guys once again. Again, this is the later half of the roster, intercepted by
Jameel Showers, my boy.
Jameel Showers, former quarterback.
Texas El Paso, UTEP, home of Tim Hardaway, made famous the UTEP two-step back in the mid-'90s, we all recall here. So Jameel, that's a guy's name.
I know
Showers.
Tim Hardaway Jr.
That's right. This is his great-grandpa.
I got a question for you, Alec Monty, on YouTube. Is Tate Martell going to the NFL? If you think so, what team?
Well, Tate Martell is a redshirt freshman.
Tate Martell, by the way, is my height.
He is your height. He is 5'10". I think they made
he's shorter than I'm 5'11".
Harris, you were 5'8", by the way.
5'8".
I swear, he is 5. You were 5'8". Tate Martell out of Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas. One of the more hyped players because he just played at a powerhouse for so long in high school, but didn't get any time last year as a true freshman. They obviously redshirted him, but Dwayne Haskins going to win the job. They're only 1 year apart. If Haskins plays his entire career, Tate Martell might not get any snaps until his fifth-year senior quarterback 3 years from now. Haskins still has this year, next year, and in 2020 of eligibility. So if he is a player and doesn't go pro early, Tate Martell might end up transferring. He could be a guy who bails on Ohio State after the season.
We may have just gotten one of the greatest and also strangest comments, I think, in the history of my time here at Chat Sports. Rafael Torrado says, "At my wife's funeral, and your voice is so much like hers. Go Cowboys."
Well, I can guarantee that is not real, Harris. And the reason I know that, if he's in the Cowboys, he's in the Central Time Zone, obviously, and funeral homes close at 9 o'clock. So this is fake. This is fake.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever need to know when funeral homes close, at James T. Yoder on Twitter. This is your guy.
Siri, what's the latest funeral home? Does not exist. There's no funeral homes open. Where's the funeral home open right now? It doesn't exist. That was a lie. I'll tell you what. That's just poor taste by this guy.
That's poor taste, by the way. Who do you think he's talking about?
I think I think he's talking about me doing impersonations of you. I swear.
By the way, if you're wondering what that is, it is actually the quote, "I swear," was a theory made up by James Yoder and Cam Rogers off of an old College Football Daily video that we did, which has since been debunked by yours truly. That exact quote was never actually said. However, the high-pitched Jewish voice that I seem to break out almost every other show is something consistent you will hear from me. I can't control it. It just slips out.
We got a Bet DSI depositor at Heisenberg69, HEISNBERG69. Bet DSI, give me the thing. See, this guy is getting hooked up by me. That is for sure. Appreciate the love and the DM there on Twitter. Thank you, Scott. What your first name is. Guys, go there.
It's 120% cash bonus if you use our code, either Cowboys120 or NFL120 at chatsports.com/bet. Sign up for an account today. Use our promo code. You will not find a better gambling deal anywhere on the internet. This is legal. This is safe. This is the best deal that you will find on the internet. 120% cash bonus if you go to chatsports.com/bet and use our promo code Cowboys120 or NFL120. James, you've been a gambling man for a while. You're not, I wouldn't call you a degenerate gambler. I would not classify you as such. However, I would like to know, I think the people at home would also like to know, what is the greatest bet that you've ever won on? Was there just something that you threw out there that was so unbelievably random that you won a crazy amount of money on? What is your either craziest bet ever or biggest win ever? I'd love to know.
You know, I'm going to
you don't need to use catch amounts if you aren't comfortable with that. But I would love to know the biggest win and the biggest kind of guess that you've had.
Well, I'm going to message our producer. I want to get my boy Heisenberg some love here beforehand. Producer, I just sent his username there.
Ironically, our producer is the the actual Cowboys fan.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you about my nearest
bet.
my nearest big win. I didn't actually win it. I'm not sure I have any big win, because to get a big win in gambling here is you either have to do a money line, which I usually stay away from,
That's fair.
Or you have to do a prop bet, which I am like literally, I press send, but I had to relog in for my Todd Gurley bet. I'm betting him where it was a 25-1 odds to win the MVP. That is a phenomenal bet at BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet. 2006, I was out in Vegas that summer prior hand, and I put $20, which is a lot of money. I was around your age at the time. Put $20 on Michigan at 28 or 27 to 1 odds to win the national title, and they were coming off a 7-5 year, went all the way 11-0, 1 versus 2 Ohio State game, lost that one by 3 points, 42-39. Had they won it, they would have been in the national title game, no Big Ten championship game against a Florida team that was way worse than Michigan, but somehow crushed Ohio State, and that would have been 27-1 odds on $20. We were talking about $540 return on a $20 investment. That was close I could have got. Cam, I'm doing the same thing this year with Michigan, by the way. Not nearly as good of odds, but Shea Patterson Heisman Trophy, 17-1 odds.
17-1? That's kind of crazy. My biggest one, another one that I didn't actually end up winning. My father and I went to Las Vegas, did the whole sports book, spent the whole weekend there. It was fantastic. On Saturday, we did an 8-game parlay where we had won all 7 games leading up to it, and then if my memory serves me correctly, we had money on Western Kentucky to win. They were up by 5 points. 5 points with 1 minute and 3 seconds left to go. And they lost. And we lost our parlay. At that time, I believe it was 250-1 odds.
You know what? You jog my memory there, Harris. 2 years ago, 2016, my dad and I flew out to Vegas for 24 hours. He's out there for a work conference during March Madness. We went 5-5 on the opening Friday.
Ooh.
Just me and him putting, I think we each put up 100, 150. I think he put 150, I put $150 a game, and we won it. Quiet number. My dad's not watching. I cashed the tickets because I think the game's still going on, and we left, and I never gave him the money, so I kept all the winnings. So it was a great offering. So check this out. My man, my boy, this is what happens when you watch Chat Sports, Harris, you get free money.
Exactly. And like you said before, James, the amount of money that you won in Vegas, you can win by just simply using BetDSI. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo codes. Cowboys 120 for all you Cowboys fans out there. NFL 120 for the rest of the NFL fans out there. 120% cash bonus when you sign up today at chatsports.com/bet. The best deal anywhere on the internet. If I had used it with my 250-1, I would have made an absurd amount of money, and you can too. Remember, with that $120 or that 120% cash bonus, even if you lose, you've been given so much money anyway that you can just bet again and win the next time. That's how this works. Gambling is now legal, ladies and gentlemen. Use BetDSI today. It's not legal.
It's just not illegal.
Use BetDSI today, chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Cowboys120.
You should have seen Brett's face when you said that. He was about to just jump across the I am trying to make this a more comfortable experience for our viewers. And mind you, also, if you do sign up for BetDSI today, I mean, you can get some pretty sick swag. And if Brett, if you don't mind bringing us back on screen here, we have some badass BetDSI football jerseys right here. These are badass. You got the Johnny Manziel #2, even though he's sucking it up in the Canadian Football League. Back and forth #2. We have beautiful fleeces here as well. These are the ones that I actually really like. Really nice, comfortable fleeces. Probably not if you're down here in Texas, but fortunately it's cold just about everywhere else in the country. So if you actually want to get some nice swag, go to BetDSI today. Get a nice visor. Be the old ball coach too. I was wearing a BetDSI shirt, Harris. Let me just tell you, the ladies see that on you. You don't want to know what happened.
You're making that sweet money. And you're also making that sweet money if you put money down on the Cowboys tonight, just like I did. They're up 21-10 right now, 8:32 left to go in the game.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. Thanks for telling me. I'm losing big time.
Sad. All right, so James, you and I have never actually been on air during the time that this anthem issue has gone down because it never touched college football. But for the NFL, I would love to – what is your thoughts on this? Because I've never actually heard your opinion on this. I've heard you make some jokes about it, whether it's, on Trump or the players at Kaepernick. But do you type K for Neil, or do you type S for stand, or do you type D like I do called don't care?
Well, I have never really spoken about this publicly. Hopefully, during Yoder 2020, my upcoming presidential debate, this doesn't come back to haunt me. I am stand, Harris. I really am. And not because I don't think that people have rights or they shouldn't protest or there isn't inequalities on that. I just think it's gotten past the point of stupidity. I think it was a one-time thing and then change happened. But I will say this, Harris. I'll ask you this question. This is one of these questions. It's like, hey, if NFL, you said earlier in the show, you said, hey, as the 49ers were back in action, by the way, 8 minutes left, 49ers nice down, catch. Cowboys up 21-10 on this one rollout pass. Nice catch for a first down by number 17 there for the 49ers, whose number I will have to look up and give you the name as you're watching this. Let me just get there, Harris. Number 17 for the San Francisco 49ers, Victor Bolden Jr., second-year man out of Oregon State, a guy who didn't win much in college. No. Had a nice turnaround catch there for the San Francisco 49ers coming down from the Pacific Northwest. So it is the revenue is going to go up in the NFL because it's guaranteed because they have contracts. If zero people watch any NFL game this year, their revenue will basically be the exact same thing. A nice little bobble play there.
Did you catch that? No, they're calling it incomplete. Okay, that was one.
The revenue will basically be the same because the TV contracts there. The ones that are losing right now are the media companies or the TV networks are losing. The NFL's not.
Except for us here at Chat Sports. We're dominating, by the way.
Dunking on these kneelers and standers. So with that being said, the next time they negotiate, that's with the NFL players. So if you're an NFL owner or an NFL player, you say, hey, you can kneel all you want. We'll give you a kneeling pass. Get out a kneeling free card. 20% payroll reduction for the rest of your thing. Would you do it? How many players would do it if you said, hey, 20% reduction in salary? How many?
I would say maybe, I think one. I think Malcolm Jenkins would do it because he's already a big-time veteran in the NFL. He's won a Super Bowl. He already gives so much of his money to charity. I think the NFL could spin that in a really nice way, saying that 20% pay cut that you take, we'll give it to a charity.
But
that'd be a great PR
but the NFL is losing it. But sure, okay, so let's just say that let's just say that did happen. How many players out of the 1,700 in the NFL would take that pay?
I would say maybe 5.
Okay, maybe. So 5 out of 1,700. The players' union, their goal is not to appease the players who want to stand or appease the players who want to kneel. Their goal of the players' union is to appease all players collectively. And if you're telling me that only a handful of players would take a payroll cut, imagine in a couple years when these media rights get renegotiated and it's like, well, our salary cap's no longer $110 million. It's $94 million. We're really sorry. Everyone can scale back. There will be mutiny. It's going to be blamed on this. So it is bad for business, Harris. Imagine this happening.
I agree. I think it's terrible for business.
The brutal, terrible Papa John's delivery man, 90 minutes for a gosh dang large pizza so we could feed this fine young man and the cronies around him. 90 minutes. Imagine the guy said, before he handed me the pizza, he said, before you hand me this pizza, sir, I want to tell you, make America great again. Or, resist. He wanted to give me his political opinions. I'm like, dude, keep your pizza. I don't care what you're talking about. I'm going to go across the street to get some 7-Eleven.
It's like the collusion thing I talked about. Like, I couldn't, like, you guys couldn't.
Are you sure you know what collusion means?
No, well, that makes
some talk here earlier on the internet
that we were talking about before that, like, I couldn't, do something here at Chat Sports. You guys fire me, and then I sue you guys and expect you to rehire me. Like, that's just not how private companies work. Like, you can't expect that suing the company that you want to work for is then going to rehire you. Like, that's just not a logical assumption.
Well, according to Alex Jones's number 2, a private company and a public company is one owned by the government that's publicly traded privately, I believe is what she said. Just an internet joke if you follow
I've been following this Alex Jones thing. I find it to be one of the most interesting controversies that we have. But we're talking football here at Chat Sports. We don't need to get way too far out here. 21-10.
Point is, Stan, it all started right in the stadium 3 years ago, whenever it was. It started in this stadium. Colin Kaepernick sitting, then kneeling. Friend of the program, Nate Boyer, convinced him to kneel after a preseason game that year when they went down to San Diego. But I am a pro. I am just a pro. Don't do any of it. Just don't acknowledge it. If you want to do it with your $10 million contract. Donate money. Do what LeBron didn't do, which is actually donate to a school.
Oh, we're not getting into that.
LeBron James, the best PR people in the game because he gets away with claiming to start a school when he did almost not really anything. Yeah, so don't do it.
Isn't he
no
paying
place
for
in the
all
game.
them to go to college at the University of Akron?
No place in the game, Harris.
Do you know what? I will agree with you, though. I think that the way it's been handled since then has been poor. And I think that it has shined poorly on the NFL players.
Who's the only people who benefit from it? I'll give you a multiple choice.
Donald Trump?
He benefits from it.
I think he benefits from it.
So more and more people are. I'll tell you what, we benefit from it. We do. Chat Sports does.
That's right.
Because people have opinions on it, and they watch, right? They watch this show. We talk about the anthem. We talk about Kaepernick. We talk about Trump. Audience goes up. First and goal here for the 49ers. Handoff. Right side. Touchdown. Touchdown dance. Oh, yeah.
And mind you, James, one exclusive thing that you have here at Chat Sports when you're talking about this anthem thing, we are the only company that will listen to your opinions, put your opinions on screen, and answer your questions. You're not going to find that from an ESPN or a Fox Sports. They'll just ignore you. We're talking YouTube comments we'll answer, Facebook comments we'll answer, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere and everywhere. We will answer your questions, so stick with us here on Chat Sports. So touchdown for the San Francisco 49ers, making it 21-16 with the PAT pending. So we're still in the area of obviously winning a little money if you pick the Cowboys. 49ers are going 4-2, so we will see how this works out. However, I do believe we are about to enter a timeout. Yes, indeed we are. James, this NFL season, I've claimed this multiple times off air, and I'll say it for the first time on air. This is one of the most important NFL seasons in the history of the league from an on-the-field standpoint because they need something to drown out the noise about this anthem stuff and a way to bring fans back to the game. And really the only way that you're able to do that as a sport is with what goes on the field. We saw with the NBA, they had a pretty bad lull in the ratings during about the mid-2000s. Now we're seeing them breaking records because on the court, the play is just so good you can't stop watching. The NFL desperately needs that to be the case going into this season. I think what we've seen so far in the preseason, I mean, we've seen a lot of great young players, but they got to get the focus back on the field that's actually going on.
Yeah, they really do. And so Nick Mullins here, rookie out of Southern Miss, is going to take the snaps. 4-year starter, started 41 games at Southern Miss. Not the guy I'll tell you what, Harris, I was too high on or knew too much about, but this is his second year with the 49ers, practice squad guy last year. Opportunity here to make it happen. Nice little drive, getting them back in the game, going for 2 here. So it's an important year, Harris, but what's so important about it, what's so different about the NBA versus the NFL is I love the NBA, you love the NBA. I am more of an NBA guy than I am an NFL guy as far as I will watch NBA games ad nauseum. I won't miss a play. I have got to want to watch a full NFL game. I'd much rather watch Tuesday night Toledo versus Ohio U game than a full NFL game because it's just not my thing as far as like Sundays. I am more of a watch the Red Zone channel than I am watch a full NFL game. I'll watch the Red Zone channel till here we go, little touchdown pass.
That was a pretty poor attempt at a 2-point conversion there. If you're going to call a play to go for a 2-point conversion, maybe you don't want to just do a back corner fade, though there is a flag on the field.
I
so
think
maybe
he may have just jumped off 1 foot for no reason, the quarterback. I don't know what Mullins was doing there. It was a brutal play in general. So where are we at with that, Harris? We said NBA. So the NFL, though, it is literally a colossal giant compared to the NBA. I know
no.
As far as you talk about the TV ratings,
7 of the top 10 most watched shows in the country last year were NFL football games.
Less games, more focus, 1 day a year, all that different stuff.
Pass interference defense on the 2-point conversion, by the way, so they will be redoing the play.
I thought Brett was telling me to push you or something like that.
Please don't push me. You already said that I watch porn at work. Physical contact is not needed.
So here's the problem: is you said no other boss has caught you, whatever it was. I think they just throw me. Were like, Harris, we're gonna have to let you go. They don't tell you the reason why. I was willing enough to give you a second here. So the point is the NBA, because of the social justice push in America, some justified social justice, some I think a little ridiculous. The NBA has become completely Teflon. There's nothing the NBA can do wrong now. When has Adam Silver ever taken any heat from the press? Roger Goodell takes heat every time he wipes his nose, anything like that. 49ers denied there. It looks like, was that fourth and go? That was the second 2-point conversion.
Good job by the Cowboys, though.
I'm thinking about the NBA. I'm thinking about their
helping guys like me make some money tonight. Great play down low by number 65 for the Dallas Cowboys. Couple of really nice big men down low trying to stack the table against the 49ers.
You're talking about NBA, big men down low.
There you go.
Yeah, so with that said, the NBA could do nothing wrong. LeBron James, I mean, let's think about this. Imagine for a second, Aaron Rodgers had burner accounts was saying, hey, I went on your fucking podcast to other guys, was such a ridiculous punk. Imagine this, Harris. Imagine Todd Gurley and Antonio Brown just joined the Patriots this year. Imagine, would it get the
makes me happy.
It'd be a disaster as far as PR. People would, this is terrible. It's the NBA. It's like, oh man, why they got to win? They don't have Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Of course he's going to want to win. Blah blah. The NBA has become Teflon. The NFL, because guys wear helmets and you can't see their faces, they become robots in the eyes of the American public, and it's becoming divisive because it is liberal. NFL is too rough versus conservative. My boy's going to play some football. I love Trump, and that's kind of how it's been portrayed in the media. And I think actually some conservatives, Harris, are getting. I know the ones I talk to, they are getting sick of hearing about this NFL stuff. A lot of them have just, for all intents and purposes, just have stopped watching the NFL. I think some people think it's a myth. It is a true thing.
I know people who have stopped watching the NFL. I just don't know if it's
by the way, those same guys stopped watching the NBA 10 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know if it's as big of a group of people as been stated in the media. I think there are people out there who have stopped watching the NFL. I think that is absolutely true. I definitely know people who watch way less. They will no longer just sit around on Sunday and watch Red Zone. They might watch their own team and then stop. But overall, I think with this season going forward, we'll get back to the game here, but I think going forward with the NFL, again, the attention has to get back on the field. And again, by the way, I will mention this. If you don't like talking about the anthem and you don't like, messing around with that stuff, our NFL daily shows that we have on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, unless the topic is brought up, we will usually resist talking about it because we here at Chat Sports enjoy talking about the sport and not always about the stuff. We're simply talking about this because we have a very intelligent man on the screen with us today. And I'd like to hear your thoughts. He's over there somewhere. I think he's in the other room. He's actually right there. It's actually Brett Scott with his one AirPod. But look, Cam Rogers saying that the anthem, national anthem rumors with Cam Rogers every Monday and Wednesday, Friday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time.
The whole anthem thing, by the way, is a marketing ploy by the U.S. military. Just to be frank, is the players didn't used to come out in the field.
They stay in the locker room.
It was actually a paid sponsorship by the U.S. military to drive up enrollment, or I don't think enrollment's the right word, but people making that their lives, putting their life on the line for underprivileged, sometimes African-American youth, is where that whole initiative and staying for the anthem started, just so we can go a walk down reality lane for a second.
So, guys, remember, if you are looking for some reasonable discussion on the national anthem issue, Chat Sports is the place for you. We're not leaning one way or the other politically. We like to get all sides of the story and have valid, responsible discussions, because that is what sports television should really be. Let's get back to the game here. 21-16. Cowboys leading with 3:30 left to go in this game. As of right now, I still stand to make some money using BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet. Use Cowboys120 promo code when you sign up.
Will you make a Darius Jackson here, the homie, number 44 out of Eastern Michigan? I'm telling you what, this guy's a player, third year in the league. He's beat the average 2.3 years, I think. So
he has so far.
So keep an eye out for Darius
Jackson.
My
eyes right now are on Rico Gathers and what he's going to be able to bring to the table for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think there's ever been as much hype around a player who has never actually played a snap of football than Rico Gathers. I have never seen anything like this. He did not play football at Baylor. He was a okay basketball player, decided to not play basketball, wanted to play football instead.
Too soon. We don't say Baylor yet. Too soon.
Wanted to play football instead, was given a workout, and then all of a sudden signed with the Dallas Cowboys. And ever since he signed with the Cowboys, I swear, I have never seen anything like this before.
Gift that, Cam Rogers,
there
please.
Is so
please, we got on there.
Much calamity around the guy who, A, doesn't have that much natural talent playing football, B, can't catch at all, and he's just not very good. They can block. Like he can't block. Brett Scott's telling me he can catch a little bit. I don't think he can do anything. Like, I don't understand what the calamity is around this guy. He's just big.
When we first started talking,
hashtag hype, absolutely.
When we first started talking about it last year, I kind of thought it was a fake name. I thought it was that guy from what's that movie, Uncle Rico, throw the football 100 yards. Napoleon Dynamite. They're telling me in my other ear. I thought it was like Uncle Rico. I'm like, what is this? Is that Uncle Rico's last name? Is what I thought. And still a year later, he hasn't played a down in the NFL except for now. He is in this game. Just talking about the stat leaders here. Just really quick.
I honestly wonder if Rico Gathers is using his appearance with the Dallas Cowboys to help his rap career. I'm serious. Like, I honestly wonder if that was his intention with this.
Rumors out there from Chat Sports. I'm not going to mention her name because, you know, she went. Anyways, we know the story there. Apparently, Rico Gathers has his own driver. That's how big time he is in the rap game or in the football game. So,
boy.
Anyways, Cooper Rush Harris, 15 of 23, 145 and a touchdown tonight.
Not bad.
Dak 3 for 3, 39. Mike White 3 for 7, 29 yards. White's in the game here, number 3. Am I correct there? Am I crazy? And so that's
White has really just come in to hand the ball off, run out the clock, and see where it goes.
C.J. Beathard, 10 for 20, 181, interception. Nick Mullins, 5 of 7, 72, an interception. And Jimmy G, 3 of 6 for 34 yards, no TDs, no interceptions. Had he not been with a porn star 2 weeks ago, would he have better stats? Your thoughts?
Do you know what? I am. There are so many weird topics that we talk about when the sports year is kind of dead. Like the end of July and August is obviously the dead zone for sports unless you're a huge baseball fan. But they're running out of huge baseball fans, unfortunately. I just find it that it was the most interesting thing. We freaked out over Jimmy Garoppolo going on one date. And mind you, in that date, if you actually go listen to Miss Pornstar, whose name currently escapes me, she said great things about him. She said he was very respectful. He was funny. They had a great time. He's a good dude. And they just want to have a fun night out.
Let me just, you and Cam, you mini millennials, you're younger than millennials. Whatever.
I am the last year of millennial.
Let me just walk you down a little bit of adult lane here. Let me be the old guy in the room for a second. You're about the same age as Jimmy G, maybe a couple years younger than him. I'm not going to age you here, Harris.
He's 26.
Don't say your age on air. Don't do it. People will disrespect you for your age. Trust me. The age is the real thing. Ageism is the thing, Harris.
Absolutely.
If you've got a lovely girlfriend, so this wouldn't happen. If you went out to a company party or you just took a picture on Facebook with a 41-year-old woman that looked like her, let alone porn star, I would judge you. I'd be like, what in the mother F is Harris doing with his life? There are 24-year-old girls out there that he could probably get. They're way better looking than this girl. And so it's not the fact that he went out with a porn star. It's not the fact that he went out with a 41-year-old porn star. It's the 41-year-old. It's the combination. And she's not that good looking. There are smoking hot 27-year-old porn stars that he could be going out with. He is going out with a girl, Harris.
That's a very good point.
She was a legal porn star probably before you were born. That's how old she is. So if you're going with a porn star and you're tarnishing your clean cut reputation, wouldn't you do it with Janice Griffin or one of these
That's fair.
The girls you were telling me about that you watch. I don't know any of their names. I just remember Janice Griffin is what
he has a son and a wife. He doesn't get into that.
Yeah, it's the name you had told me about that you were watching earlier. But I'm mad. Like, why would you not be going out with her? Why would you not go out with that girl?
But I have this question. What if he did already?
Ooh. Final score.
Got a news alert here. The Colts have taken down the Seattle Seahawks 19-17 on a wild finish to that game with a fumble being returned for a touchdown. Brad Kaya, former
Miami Hurricane.
Miami Hurricane, who came out a year too early, did fumble for the Seattle Seahawks. Colts picked it up, ran it back for a touchdown. Colts get the win 19-17 as we enter the 2-minute warning for the Cowboys 49ers preseason game here on Chat Sports. Joining us on NFL Game Night, James Yoder, Harris Rubenstein here taking you through the game. James, this has been an overall fun game. It has been entertaining. The great throw from Dak Prescott to start the game, the multitude of injuries that the 49ers went through. A couple of backups come in, make some nice plays. Joe Williams looked pretty good in limited time. We saw Michael Gallup make a nice touchdown catch early in the game. Going forward into this season, I know you said before you don't watch a ton of NFL football.
I know.
However, you obviously know what is going on with the sport. What is your surprise team going into this year? Is there a team that you think that no one is talking about that you just give the old James Yoder WTF when you don't hear enough people talking about these guys?
Well, let me start off with the team that I think is overrated. I will say it's the Rams.
Okay, that's fair.
the Rams remind me of, like I said, a couple teams, that Eagles team, 2011-12, that team from the Redskins, is why when you have such a young core, Gurley, you've got your quarterback, you've got your young 33-year-old coach, why are you going to bring in all these overpriced attitude guys? Those guys wouldn't end up on your team had their current team wanted them. So I don't think you throw a bunch of alpha males with bad attitudes in the room. I think it's a recipe for disaster. I think the Rams are going to be the biggest disappointment. So you're saying who's the team that's going to surprise? Who's the team that is going to disappoint? I think that team is
disappointing is a surprise. I mean, both can qualify.
Sure, and the other side is the team that has been basically your 9-7 team for, I think, your entire life, Harris. I actually think if this year's Jags, the team that could surprise and get in the AFC Championship game, I think the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson. I mean, he was drafted 12th overall. The fact that he wasn't drafted top 5, the teams like the Browns let him get by,
weird.
Is ridiculous. Now, he's injury prone. Torn ACL in college, torn ACL in the pros, so he's going to come back. But he came back from that and had 2 of the best seasons we've seen in college football in recent memory. So I think the Houston Texans
should have won a Heisman one of those years.
Absolutely.
Should have won
absolutely.
We don't even need an I swear on that one. He absolutely should have won at least
Christian
one.
McCaffrey, neither one of them winning one. Those were the best 2 players those 2 years. That's ridiculous when you when you got your boy Lamar Jackson, terrible, and then you've got running back Derrick Henry, the worst Heisman Trophy winner of all time. Lamar, the second worst one. So from that perspective, I think Houston Texans, Harris, I actually think I'm calling them AFC Championship game or bust.
Interesting.
AFC Championship game or bust. I think Deshaun Watson is that kind of talent. He's going to take that step up like Jared Goff, like Carson Wentz did last year. Second year.
I like that.
It's not the sophomore slump. It's a sophomore explosion.
And also with Deshaun Watson, he's going to a very tough division. Got the Jacksonville defense in there. Tennessee Titans coming back with Mike Vrabel, the new head coach. New offense being installed there as well. So I think the AFC South in general.
Vrabel won't be the coach there in 2 years.
That's fair. I mean, we predicted here on Chat Sports with everything that's going down with Urban Meyer that Mike Vrabel is going to be one of the top candidates for a job.
He might be a top candidate for the job. I think even if he's not, he's going to get fired by oh, my
gosh,
that was play.
Cool. That was
what
cool.
A play off a 49ers tight end chest into the hands of a wide receiver. Who we got there?
Dunbar Jr. It's not a great sign to make the roster if you're a wide receiver who has a single-digit number, and that was a number 7 wide receiver. So not always what you're looking for. Nice little drive here, though, by Nate Mullins. Moving the ball down the field here.
Off the chest of rookie Ross Dwelley out of San Diego.
Nice little drive here for the 49ers, though, on the Dallas Cowboys. 24-yard line, 2nd and 6 after a 4-yard gain, I should say, to the tight end. 49ers trying to make a run here to make sure that I do not win any money. I still could win money because, if they do actually get the touchdown.
What line did you get? Four?
I got the line for 4 at the start of the game. So if they go for 2, then I still should be fine. So I think I'm in the clear right now.
Yeah, you're in the clear. You have to get 2 scores. Harris at 3.5. At 3.5, I still can't win. Damn it.
Making that
2-point conversion is literally the difference between my kid going to college and working at McDonald's.
I don't know. The kids going to college might be your obsession with buying really, really nice Jordans, which, mind you, I have not met many people outside of basketball players who have a better – you know what? It's not about volume. It's about quality. It's all about quality with James T. Yoder. But anyway, James, we got 21 seconds left on the game clock as we go down to the wire here. A flag on the Cowboys, defensive pass interference.
Oh, so we're getting noise piped into the stadium.
Brett Scott is not pleased. Yeah, who are we, the Indianapolis Colts? Yeah, Brett Scott is none too.
I think, Harris, we may have got our feeds crossed. I think this is coming from the stadium.
I think so, too. If you listen really closely, Brett Scott actually is coming all the way from Levi Stadium. And we do have a touchdown. Richie James, Cam Rogers pick for breakout player on the 49ers as the 49ers take a late lead, 22-21, pending the PAT with 21 seconds to go. Drama at Levi Stadium.
Going for 2. Some people got early. This line started at 3 points. At the beginning of the week, they could tie here, Harris. They could get the push. I'm calling for it. Yes! 2-point conversion!
Well, no, that was actually the touchdown that we just watched.
Gosh. I am way up. We're so far behind. These guys are giving us the wrong information. Okay, I am way off here.
So, reminder for those who
Gosh. So
let
me just give myself a little credit here.
James, go ahead.
The production camera is about 15 seconds behind the studio camera here. So they're celebrating touchdowns back there. We're seeing it. I thought I was watching the 2-point conversion for a second there. My bad.
No,
that
you're
one.
fine.
But
welcome to the NFL.
But we will see what happens here. Was that 82? Is that Jonathan Taylor?
That's Richie James, one of Cam Rodgers' top camp wide receivers so far for the 49ers, has apparently been performing quite well so far. Gets a touchdown here for the 49ers to give them a late lead in preseason week 1.
Middle Tennessee State.
They are going for 2. They are going for 2.
2-15 upset in the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago, 2016, if we all recall. They beat Michigan State.
MMA highlights. You're asking what the score is. It is very obvious what the score is. There's a massive scoreboard on your screen. There's another pass interference penalty on the 2-point conversion. So here we go, guys. The score as of right now, 22-21. San Francisco 49ers have taken the lead. Attempted 2-point conversion by the Niners was incomplete. However, there was a pass interference penalty on the Cowboys. So here we go. Another chance at the 2-point conversion for the Niners.
What is the word with this? Brett saying cut this guy. Donovan Oluba, the cornerback for the Cowboys. 5th year out of Oklahoma State. If you're in your 5th year and you're playing in the last minute of a first game of the preseason, your career is not going well. How is he still in the league at 5 years in? How is that possible?
It's not a great sign.
2-point conversion.
The 49ers have indeed converted the 2-point conversion. James, I'm sure that makes you quite happy. Also makes me quite happy for getting that 4-point spread. So both James Jones and I are getting that money. And
I'm not 3.5. I'm losing my
3.5.
I am. By the way, I'm 0 for 2 in the NFL preseason now. 0 for 2.
Doing great.
Total losses, 1 point. Half with the Ravens last week, half in this game. 3.5-point spread.
That is just a ball buster right there. But if you want to make some serious money this NFL season, head to chatsports.com/bet. Sign up today. Use promo code Cowboys120 or NFL120 to get a 120% cash bonus at BetDSI today. Best deal anywhere on the internet. Even if you lose money, they have given you so much free money anyway, you haven't lost a dime.
The good thing is I'm down 0-2 for the year in the preseason, Harris. I have not even come close to touching my money.
No, of course
I'm losing their money.
And also, you're now due to win.
Yeah.
And with BetDSI, you are sure to win some serious money this NFL season.
You got to go for 3 of your first 16 bets, I think, or something like that, to lose money at BetDSI if you take advantage of the promo code NFL120 Chatsport or Cowboys120 Chatsports.com/bet.
And mind you,
big time bonus.
Small little special thing as well. If you do sign up and you send us a screenshot, add us on Twitter at Chatsports or Instagram, or DM us on Instagram at Chatsports as well. We will bring up your screenshot on screen and give you a personal shout out as well as a virtual high five. So get us those screenshots, get those signups in. If you're going to bet on the NFL this year, use BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet.
Right, 18 seconds left in the game, Harris.
I want to see some chaos. I want to see Mike White throw a deep ball down the field to Michael Gallup for a touchdown. Let's do it.
49ers 24, Cowboys 21.
I know he's not in the game. Bring him back in.
I mean, he's got the same beard I've got going on, so there's something to be said for that. Mullins, what a drive there. Third string quarterback, not bad.
He looked
for
good.
The man out of Southern Mississippi. Cowboys here, less than 20 seconds. They've got to go 75 yards. I'm correct. They're putting on the 25-yard line now. 75 yards, 18 seconds. Can they do it? Here we go, Harris. 18 seconds left. Snap comes.
Mike White, completion down the field for about 10 yards.
The clock's
35.
running.
Clock's going. They do have 2 timeouts, and I think they did just use one. They did just use a timeout. So the Cowboys at their own 36-yard line as they try to progress down the field. 13 seconds to go. They need to get about, 15, 30, need about 40 yards to get into field goal range with a backup kicker. Probably 45 yards to get into field goal range with a backup kicker, but hey, if you're that kicker, it's time to shine.
I mean, you're going to get potential roster spot if you make
it,
or someone else.
With Dan Bailey on the roster, I don't know if the Cowboys are looking for a kicker. However, a lot of NFL teams need a kicker, and getting a clutch kick at the end here could certainly help someone's resume. So here we go.
First and 10, 30, own 35, 36 to the Cowboys. big-time prevent defense. Here's a snap.
Mike White takes a snap, drops back, chucks it down the field. It is caught at the 50-yard line. Clock still running. Timeout for the Cowboys. 6 seconds left at the 50-yard line.
52 yards away from a touchdown.
Good for you, Mike White, getting the ball down the field a little bit. That, you got to get it to at least the 50-yard line to give yourself a chance at a touchdown. But 6 seconds left. I mean, maybe you do a quick out to try to get some more yards. Maybe you do a Hail Mary. I mean, the Cowboys invented the Hail Mary, so we'll see what happens.
I like this play. I mean, you're literally giving yourself, with those 2 passes, use your timeouts, get 10 yards, 15 yards out that. You're giving yourself one chance. Now, a guy who went to the college he went to and these receivers, can he throw the ball, which will take from the shotgun? It's going to take him a 60-yard throw to get in the end zone.
Mike White has a good arm. Guy coming out of Western Kentucky, a Hilltopper over the past couple of years. I don't believe.
Formerly coached by Jack Harbaugh.
There you go. Always connected back to
2002 national champions.
Here we go. Mike
White
out
of bounds again.
With the quick out, however, there was a flag blown it dead.
That would have been a good play because they backed up so far.
Right, oh, my God, that's a false start. Whoever just got that false start, you are officially cut. There's no way you can get a false start.
Give me those scissors. Give me those scissors. I'm cutting this guy. I'm cutting this guy.
That is absolutely outrageous. That is completely unacceptable. Get that dude off of this roster.
Wait, was it Rico Gathers?
I hope it was Rico Gathers.
It looked like it was number 81. I'm not sure what number.
6 seconds left. We're at the 45-yard line of the Cowboys as they try to make
he's got to throw about 70 yards here, Harris.
I can.
No, they're doing it underneath
Rico
again.
Gathers caught a ball and got out of bounds. 2 seconds left. They are now.
Harris, he caught that ball on the run, away from his body, and he got hit and spun over. Had the peace of mind to make it about a lesser man would have getting tackled in bounds. Harris, the game would have been over. That is a Pro Bowl level move from Rico Gathers, number 80. The great. What was it? What number did Jerry Rice wear?
What number did Jerry Rice? So you also wore number
80.
Yeah.
What can I say? Hail Mary coming up here, Harris. 2 seconds left. 49ers up 3.
Is there a 5-second runoff? No.
21. Don't blow the game for us there
in
the studio.
Mike White drops
Steps
back.
up. He's going to get sacked.
Chucks it deep down the field.
I'm going to flip my computer if they catch this.
Intercepted
at the 3-yard line by the 49ers. And
that'll do it.
Number 6 from the 49ers. We're going to give him some attribution, Harris. We got to, oh my gosh, just launched some program on my computer. What am I doing here? I swear.
Final score 24-21. The 49ers win their first preseason game of the Jimmy Garoppolo era. We got highlights coming up. Who was it?
Terrell Williams Jr. out of Houston. He's a rookie.
We got highlights coming up for you guys of the Cowboys 49ers. Cam Rogers will rejoin me here on screen to break down everything that we saw from today's game and more. Any last summary here?
Stick with us. We'll be right back with the highlights, and you're not going to want to miss them. Great game, awesome game.
James, thank you for joining us tonight. It was great having you on here. No, I do not look at porn at work, despite what my boss says. But we'll see you guys.
Stick with us. We'll be right back. Just stay there.